let's get going with episode 268 of the Current Gen Podcast. My name is Tim. I'm here with Dan and Kyle. Guys, we're really good at technology. Good
I
job
know,
to
so
all
good
of
that I'm
us. What?
coming in not. Yeah.
All right, that
That timing was
perfectly
perfect.
timed.
Yeah.
Perfectly timed.
It's just out of
Yeah.
focus. I don't know.
No, you
But
actually cut out for like 2 seconds.
your audio paused for
Did
a
I cut
second.
out for a
So
second?
good that
Yeah.
just for a second when you said I'm good. I'm so good that I'm not. And then it froze.
Jeez.
That was so
Anyways,
perfect.
I popped
So
back in.
perfect. All right,
I
but
love
we are
it.
here
I
to
love
talk about.
technology.
We're here to talk about some new games and probably some old games, and by that I mean 2024. We're gonna do the thing we're not supposed to do. I know the year has passed, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. Got some things to look back on. I'm so sorry. But then we'll also touch on the Mario Kart World Direct and some of the stuff coming up for Nintendo. We got a lot of Nintendo news to cover, so we will get into all that. But hey, before I do that, why don't we start off with stuff that we're playing, and then we'll get into like other new games, because I don't think any of us are playing any of the new games. So let's just to get things rolling, let's kick it off with things that we are currently playing right now. Kyle, why don't you kick us off? What is taking up your gaming time, if you're able to have any this week?
No, I thankfully I did. I had yesterday off. Yesterday was Friday for when we're recording, and just wanted to start Last of Us 2 for no reason. You know, there's not. It's
There's a reason.
no, is there?
The TV show's
no,
out. Didn't you watch the
yeah,
first episode of
I did. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was really good.
That's got to be
Yeah.
the reason, right? That's got to be the reason.
Nah,
Other than
they're
it's
not
excellent,
connected at
right?
all. No, not at all. Man,
Not connected at all.
no, not even kind of. No, yeah, absolutely. Everyone calls it like the TV bump. Like everything gets it.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry when it came out, like a couple weeks ago. Like suddenly everybody on Steam was playing Devil May Cry. Everything gets a TV bump, and so yeah, watching that made me want to play this. And without dwelling on it too much, because we had a long conversation about it in chat today. But
Yeah.
this game, I have a lot of weird feelings with this game, and none of it the way that anyone's probably assuming it is. Because there's so much controversy around it, and none of those reasons. I had this whole game spoiled for me. Just every plot beat that could possibly happen. Like it was never experienced anything like this while playing a game. A game just getting like just totally ripped apart and spoiled for me. It's like really specific moments. Like it was just really weird how the specificity of the spoilers.
Yeah.
Every time I sat down to play it, there was always kind of like this. Just get through it, like, all right, yeah, here's the part that everyone was talking about, here's this or whatever. And now I'm, 4 years removed, 2025 years removed, that game came out in, June 2020? Something like that, I think.
Yeah.
So almost 5 years exactly.
Almost 5 years.
Boy, I put 9 hours into that game today. Like, just nonstop, or yesterday, excuse me. And it's I don't know if you guys know this. That game's really good, guys. I don't,
it's all right. It's all right.
Really it's really incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it in a way that I never thought I'd enjoy the Last of Us series. Derek used to come on here all the time and be like, "These games are fun to play," and I'm like, "You're a psychopath. These games are not fun to like. They're not. They're oppressive and stressful, and yeah, I am having a lot of fun playing this game right now." So he's right. Derek was right. He can be right.
Don't tell him that. Yeah,
he's definitely right about this. Yeah, don't tell him that, anybody. He was definitely right. I'm having a good time, like interacting with the mechanics and the stealth mechanics, and sure, when you stab someone in the neck, it's visceral and weird. And they're like, "Where did Ada go?" And it's like, "Ada."
Oh, the names, yeah.
Yeah, Irene, where are you? Yeah, like it's just that part is still there and oppressive, and it doesn't make you feel good. But like, the shooting feels great. Like everything about this game, it's got to be one of the best,
especially, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's got to be one of the best feeling third-person shooters like ever, or third-person perspective games ever. Just in terms of weight and I don't know, even the simple stuff like getting down into prone and popping out of it. The dodging, like there's just a fluidity to everything and the proper amount of weight where it's not too weighty or not too floaty. There's really something about it. Everything about this game is really clicking with me this time. So much so that even like in Seattle, I'm like, I'm going to do everything here. I'm going to go to every dumb building and I'm going to get all the things. And I didn't do that. Again, I was just in a rush because I was so grumpy playing this game the first time around. Still enjoyed it. So I think we ranked it properly in the year that it came out. We had a lot of debates about it. Like we talked very highly of it. I feel all of those things and felt those then. I'm just feeling them in a much clearer head now.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's so great. I'm
Makes you appreciate it a little bit more this playthrough. It
Oh
sounds like.
gosh, yeah, especially after watching the first episode and just seeing like how good a lot of the casting is, and like Jesse is perfect casting, and I just got to the part where you save Jesse, or Jesse saves you. You save each other after you leave Dina at the theater, and now we're back at the theater.
Hmm.
Not awkward at all, that reunion.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, just cool stuff. Like there are things I completely forgot about, like Dina being pregnant. I knew there was a kid later, obviously, but I don't know where my brain thought that kid came from. I'm like, they adopted it or something. I
The
don't know.
stork.
Yeah, the stork came by. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I'm still looking for Tommy. I'm still like, seeing all the stuff Tommy's doing in his wake, and I'm like, I cannot wait to see this stuff
Wow.
in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Unhinged.
It's just nice to have the clarity of being able to like enjoy it in the way that it's supposed to, and like, if anything, all the themes of like revenge and all the stuff we've talked about so many times, like they're just singing and humming so much better for me this time around, just because again I'm a little more focused, a little more in the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to be ahead of the show so I can have it really fresh in my head, so I can kind of see what they change and stuff like that. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But that's
And
been the main
season
thing I've
3
been
is
playing.
already confirmed, by the way. So I have a
It is,
feeling
yeah.
this second season's going to be roughly half-ish of the story
Yeah,
from
I think
the second
they
game.
said it's going to be half the story, and then the third season's going to be the second half. And then I don't know if you do more. I mean, they were talking like 4 seasons for the show, so it's like
Four.
I'm one of the few where I'm
Well,
like, I like the ending of Last of Us 2
Me too.
like a lot, and I think if you go back, and they said this about the first one too, so like maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I feel like if you go back to that ending and you try and add more to it, you rob it of, and that's what a lot of people have problems with too. Like they've one so perfect, I don't adding more to that moment like just kind of ruined it
mm,
for me or whatever. And like that's your prerogative to think that way. I don't feel that way. I think that like I actually did kind of think that when the game was first announced. I'm like, I
sure.
don't know, man. I don't know if you need to add more to that, but I think that the game really proves itself that it had a little more to say about like the consequences of actions, and like how blind a quest for revenge can be, and like
Yeah.
what you lose if you take it too far. And I think that when you leave Ellie where she is, and I won't spoil it because I know a lot of people are maybe watching the show for the first time or never played these games, but like I think that like adding more to that like robs Ellie of the lesson. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's actually kind of nice to hear like Druckmann go, don't bank on Last of Us 3. I'm like, good. I don't think we need
Right. I was
that.
gonna say he has basically just said that recently. He's like, oh, I don't know. Actually,
Yeah, I think you could tell
probably
more
not.
stories in the universe, but like I don't know if we need more of that story. I think that like that's
Well,
pretty
and
good.
I wonder if too, like with him saying that, it's almost like a little bit of trepidation because I mean they just unveiled their new game, and of course there was all the there's hoopla about everything
Yeah,
nowadays with these games. So it's like maybe he's just kind of like, you know what, F it. I don't even want to deal like
yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, there's such a Neil Druckmann hate train. I'm even wondering if you
Yeah,
announce an Uncharted 5, if people would have reacted the same way.
sure,
Like I don't know.
sure,
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe there are sophisticated reasons people didn't like Intergalactic. I don't. I have no clue. It looked cool to
It's not
me. I
sophisticated.
don't know.
Not sophisticated
Oh,
at all.
Kyle, there's nothing sophisticated about it, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty.
I handpicked that word to be as opposite as possible to
Yeah,
what people are
yeah,
probably feeling about that game.
yeah. Maybe there's some real deep and thoughtful and valid reasons. None of
Yeah.
those. None of
Oh,
those
absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely not surface level hate or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
It's not.
um,
I already decided I wanted to hate this at all. That's for sure. Yeah.
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 The only other thing I've been playing right now is an old PS2 game called Dot Hack GU. It's a
Kyle.
four part. What are you doing? What's going on, Dan? I'm gonna keep talking while he goes. That's this thing. Oh, okay. Yes,
Oh.
Dan. Yes.
I haven't actually played it yet, but I have it.
So that's 4 games that you're looking at right there.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
4 PS2 era JRPGs, so anywhere between like 25 to 60 hours of gameplay per game, depending on
Dude,
how
how
much you
did they
want to
pump up
do.
that many games? Because there's the other four too.
Yeah,
Like, how did they
I
do
played
that?
those. I've never played GU, so I played the Sign. I played Doc Hat
Okay.
Sign. I played all 4 of those
Yeah.
games. They were transformative experiences for me as a kid, because like the gimmick
Yeah.
is that you take your character from the last
Yep.
game, you
Yep.
transfer
Yep.
it over to the next game, and he
Yep.
shows up not like a Samus game or any game really, where it's like a sequel happens and you're like, I forgot how to do everything,
Hmm.
and you come in with your level, with your gear and everything like that, and you just continue.
That's
This is
so
the
cool.
same thing or whatever. And I think
Yeah.
these games have like extraordinary stories. I don't know, maybe as I get more through GU, I'm like, oh, okay, well, we've done this story 1,000 times now, but like this is the anime trope of like where it's a game inside of a game, or a game inside of a show, you know. And I like that. So you log out of the game and like check your emails, and like you play a character outside of the game as well, you know, even though it's only a computer desktop. You could change your desktop like background and music and stuff like that. You answer
Dude, back
emails.
then on
You
PS2,
look at this is way ahead of its time. Like they have
yeah, like
built-in fake message boards that update
right.
every time you hit a milestone in the story and stuff like that. And then you, by cruising through those message boards, you can get rumors of gate codes, and gate codes get you to levels and stages rather. And those stages you can grind or get loot on. And these games are so ahead of their time, and this game is awesome. I think IGN gave this game like a 5, like when it came out.
Ouch.
It's the best 5 I've ever played, if that's kind of what it is. These games are excellent, man, and they're on everything. It's on Steam, it's on Switch. I'm playing it on Switch right now. I own it on PS5.
Nice.
I've double dipped on this one a couple times. I think I own it on Steam also, because every time it goes on sale, it's like $5. And this is 4 giant games for $5 with huge stories, with huge, like, great, interesting, unique stories. And I would say GU, the main character, is kind of a piece of shit, you know, for most of the game, at least as much as I've played. He's just rude, and I'm sure he's gonna have some kind of like realization where he's like, I need to be nicer. But yeah, there's some the worst thing I could say about it is the MC is a little grating sometimes, but he's also like cool, you know, sometimes as well. So, you know,
edgy,
cool games. I'm like 5
cool.
hours into that, you know, so I'm really enjoying that. It's kind of like my side game right now, because that's what I need. I need distraction. I need old distractions right now. Not enough new stuff to play.
I wonder why they haven't remastered the other quadrilogy. That I don't know why they did GU.
I don't know. Sign is even back then was the better reviewed series, so I don't know why this one. I honestly don't know. Maybe some kind of licensing problem. I don't know. It feels like it's always that.
I don't know.
That's it. That's all I've been playing though. So
okay, what about you, Dan? What have you been playing?
So more Assassin's Creed. I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of like in that like mental mode of like I've been doing a lot of stuff, but I also like want to try to finish Shadows before Expedition 33 consumes my life.
It's like in 3 days, isn't it? It's this week, right?
Yeah, it's Thursday, I think.
Yeah, well, 3 days or 3 or 4 days as of the airing of this recording. Yeah, that's TikTok,
but
buddy.
Like, I don't like. It sucks because I kind of don't want to rush it. I'm not feeling super fatigue, even though I'm like 80 hours into the game. Like, and that's kind of the frustrating thing.
Are you still enjoying like the side stuff a lot? Like, it sounds like you're interacting with it a lot. So
I've been doing more. I'd say this week more actual story stuff, taking out more of the main guys there in the main circle. And I actually did a couple of flashback things for Yasuke.
Dude, oh yeah, I did those. Yeah,
like this is what's so frustrating about everybody just like jumping the gun about, you know, putting the black character in a samurai. Like, dude, he's so well acted. He's
good.
Just his lines are wonderful. He's
and by the way, the way that he talks about how he's not from there. He talks about back home a lot when they talk about like she, like, you can ask him like, have you tell me about your love life, and he'll talk about how that was part of his life at one point but not anymore. So there's those little hints of things, and there's also reaction, not all the time, as you ride around. The whole village isn't screaming in terror of this guy, which maybe they would have been. Okay, but I'm glad they don't. That'd be really weird after a while in a game. But there's certain, it's part of the dialogue. People bring it up like, well, you can't go in there, obviously. You're going to like scare the crap out of him. Like, they reference the fact that he looks different, but they don't do it, in my humble opinion. You guys know, I usually call it out if I feel like it's been forced down our throats. This feels natural and fine to me. I don't feel like I'm getting lectured. Well, I don't feel like they're trying to teach some modern day thing. I think it's just really interesting characters.
Well, a lot of time it's also just his presence, because he's a big dude. Physically, he's big. And
he's
tall.
so fun to fight with, man. He's
he's just decimates everything. And it's hilarious.
Because some of those assassinations, like, they're multiple tiers. So it's like you might go in as Naoe, and then it'll switch perspectives to Yasuke, and like it'll switch back, and it's just like, in those moments, like, you really do feel how different. Like, they obviously you can feel it all the time, but like those missions are structured that they're doing things that you know, appeal to like their play styles. So it's like when it's Yasuke's turn to bust through a gate and kill 17 people, that feels great and fun and way
It
more
does.
unique
Yeah.
than now like running across, like rooftops and throwing daggers and stuff like that, which is also its own kind of fun. So
Yeah, it is. But yeah, the flashback sequences were great so far because it's like it's basically him like the beginning stages of him like training and like becoming a samurai and being beside Oba Nobunaga. And it's just really good stuff. And like I don't know, I'm also a sucker. Like we've had these conversations about like anime Kyle and the shonen animes, the pure-hearted main character who's just
hmm
really good and pure, and like he kind of like Yasuke kind of like is a bit of that. He kind of is like that pure like there's a character that said something to him. He was like, I get the feeling that like not that you necessarily hate me, but you don't like want me to be here. And she said just something about like, well, like you the way you talk about being a samurai is just very like child storybook. Like it's just not
hmm
realistic. And he's just like, well, that's a shame that you feel that way, but this is what I want to embody, and hopefully that can actually like mean something and people can perceive that. And she's like, hey, you're one of the good ones then, because that's pretty great. And yeah, it's like it's a simple premise, but like I don't know,
yeah,
like
I think there's a lot
maybe
of
just with
depth
all
to
the
his
bullshit.
character.
Yeah, because
Like
like
he has to choose his name, and the way that he like
yes,
comes to that
yeah,
moment,
yeah,
when he chooses
is
Yasuke
really
as his
nice.
name, like it feels good, like it's just
Yeah,
it's a good revelation. It's a good reason for why he does it.
yeah,
It's explained.
yeah,
Well.
yeah,
I just again, I feel like they spend a lot of time like curating his backstory in a way that like is believable. And I got to be honest, like I feel like when Ubisoft was just like, I think we're gonna put him in this game. I think they thought they were like, people are gonna respond to this really well because people like a lot of again adaptations of like this character
mm,
in other pieces of fiction. Like again, I always bring up
yeah,
like Afro Samurai and or the Yasuke like anime on Netflix, and like this is a
mm,
pretty celebrated like fictional character usually. So I maybe not. Maybe I know we had a lot of weird Ubisoft stuff about like them like towing DEI lines and stuff like that, which couldn't be a less of a boring conversation to have. But like, but I really do think that like probably when they chose him, like I don't know if there was an agenda there. I do think that they were
yeah. I
perhaps thinking that like that people were going to respond to this well, and I feel like that shines in through the story because they just I don't know did such
yeah,
a good job of writing him
I
in
think
a
if you
really
were
yeah,
upset
believable way.
about that, but not also upset about the casting of the show Shogun,
Yeah.
then you're revealing a lot about yourself. And if you've actually played Assassin's Creed Shadows, at least through that first act to get to know Yasuke a little bit and start to use him as a character a little bit, if you haven't done those things, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice to make a judgment call on it just based on what you're seeing on some Reddit
yeah,
subreddit that you like or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not worth the drama of it. But also, I do think there was some care put into this. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
yeah,
if someone somewhere maybe had a motivation that we would roll our eyes at. Okay, fine. But all I'm telling you is the final product is not
yeah.
showing that. It's not playing itself out that way, in my opinion.
It should
No,
definitely
he's
be
it's
louder than
That's
the
great.
controversies for sure. Like
yeah,
I think that
Yeah,
I think that should be
genuinely
resonating through more, just like
yeah,
yeah,
how well of a character he is written. Sometimes even better than
yeah.
Naue, who's also pretty well written.
I really like Naue a lot too. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He has like a gentle. He's got like a gentle giant presence. Like he's obviously a
yeah,
very powerful, foreboding presence, and when you're fighting him in combat, he's just decimating everything. But yeah, like when he's
hmm
interacting with other people, he's just kind of very, and he just says very intelligent things. Like when there's the conversations that he's having with Oda Nobunaga, um and he's like asking his opinion. He's like, "Oh, you want my opinion?" And it's like he actually says things that are like meaningful and like matter. It's like, "Oh, yes, okay. Well, this is why this guy was respecting you, the freaking Lord of Japan, like
hmm
was respecting because of just how he carried himself." So yeah, I think he's a great character. I think he's really great, and people should give the game a chance at least and
yeah.
try to
Also,
appreciate it.
if you don't want to play it and you made it your mind, that's fine too. A lot of games out there.
I
Like, I
agree
don't
Sure.
with
want to.
that.
I don't want to like
You don't
you're
have
not
to play
playing
it.
it, so you're making
Yeah.
some kind of statement. Like I don't think that that's true. Like if you don't want to play it, don't play it. Like
But if
I
you
think
do
that
like Assassin's Creed games, especially the recent ones, you're doing
yeah.
yourself a disservice to
I
skip
would
it
also say
because
it's one of the
yeah,
better like samurai games out there. We just don't have a lot of
it's a
good
really
ones.
good
Like
samurai
it's
game.
just yeah, it's like Ghost of Tsushima. Like that's the direct parallel, but like it's such a different experience in that, and like it
Mm,
is offering you
yeah.
something that's competent that I think will have more long-standing like resonance and like something like Rise of the Ronin that came out last year, which is like kind of more of a lower mid-tier, kind of samurai game or whatever. At least in terms of just how no one really talks about it anymore. It just came out on PC and it was a mess, and like I feel like the legacy is deteriorating for that game quicker. Whereas like this might go
But there
down in
wasn't
history
really
as
much of
one
a
of the most
story, right?
favorite Assassin's Creed games, like for a lot of
Yeah.
people. I think it might. I think it might have that ability to capture
People who are approaching it fair-mindedly are acknowledging this might be the best of the modern ones, and it
Yes.
kind of depends on your preference for setting at a certain point. Like,
Yeah, I
That
think 2 is
matters
hard
I
to
too,
do
beat
for
think
for a
sure.
lot of people.
a
I
course
think
could be
people who
a course. A case could be made for Origins, Odyssey, or Shadows, and maybe Valhalla for some folks. But I think that's a really minority group of people who would prefer that
you'd
one.
have to be a
But
real
for
big
those
Viking
three,
guy. Yeah.
I think so. But anyway, for those and the gameplay systems of that are just a little too clunky and messy. But uh,
Mhm.
for those other three, I think it probably is just the tiebreaker is the setting. Do you like Greek mythology? Do you like ancient Egyptian setting
Yeah,
or
Right.
what's your
mythology,
flavor?
or do you like more of this shogunate kind of style? It's just awesome, and it's beautiful, by the way, too. We talked about this a lot, how
Yeah.
pretty it
It's
is, but it's
incredible how
really
good that
beautiful.
game
I
looks.
did my first like Tomb Raider exploration thing where you have to solve puzzles and move
Mm,
things
yeah, yeah,
around and
yeah.
go
Yeah.
find like a treasure. That was pretty fun. So I
Yep.
did that. Yasuke stinks at climbing, and I still think it's hilarious that he's so bad at
I
climbing.
know, yeah. If I'm
He's
doing any sort of like map stuff, I'm like, you're benched, buddy.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
can't have
You're
you
bad.
fumbling
But
around.
so Kyle, to tag on to what Dan's talking about with what he's playing now, I'm also playing a lot of this. Kyle, I got to the ring of targets that you referenced in the last time we chatted about this game, where you said you
Okay,
killed like the the
Mm,
the
the
head of the
figurehead
house.
of that group, and then they all
Yeah.
gathered, and then you could go take them all out. So I did that first. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do what Kyle did." And I just got overwhelmed. There's too many of them. I couldn't escape. They wouldn't stop looking for me. I was just like, ugh. So I reloaded the save right before I killed him, and I escaped. I left him alone for a little while, and I went
Uh-huh.
and I followed the mission order to let me just look at each of these. And there's actually these little mysteries to solve. Like one guy drops a note at the bathhouse that
Yeah.
reveals his new like patrol route or whatever. And one of them is this girl who trains as a samurai. You talk to her, you can convince her and maybe spare her and like convince her to leave. And one brother is a
Mhm.
coward and doesn't want to be part of this. So like I started to like weed out the different groups, but then I still realized that I think I was level 17 or 18 at the time. They were right above that, maybe right around that. They were
mm,
tough enemies. I couldn't assassinate them in one hit. I wasn't
Mhm.
powerful enough yet to do that. So I would bring them down to like maybe 2 bars, and then it was a huge fight, and they had tons of guards with them. And I was like, man, this is really challenging with
a
Now Way.
lot.
So then once I figured out where they were, I just made sure I wasn't in combat. You can switch freely back and forth between them in the
Yep.
inventory screen. So I just switched to Yasuke, and I just demolished them once I
Yeah.
found them, like so quickly, just killed them
Yeah.
all.
Sure.
And then switch back to her to sneak around, find out where everyone is, and then switch back to him to yet again demolish. And so when I was ready to take out the figurehead, it was him and one other person left. I just walked in the front gate and started fighting guys with Yasuke. I just started just like killing everybody. I was like, I'm not doing
Yeah. Hell yeah.
assassination this time.
It's a
But
samurai on
Hell yeah.
samurai crime. You
it
did
was
you did
really
right.
good.
It's
It
cool
was
though,
really,
right? Yeah,
really,
like everybody
it's
kind of
so
had their own
cool.
little story and stuff like that. And like I didn't realize I was doing a lot of their side stuff, so I had liberated like the girl, or at least talked to her and be like, you don't have to do this or
Yeah.
whatever. And she's like, if you
Yeah.
take care of my dad, I'll walk away.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what led me down that route. I was like, oh, let me go
Yeah.
figure out what's going on with the dad. And that's when I started reading into him. And I'm like, oh, so if I kill him, everyone has to show up here. And I was
Well,
already
there's one
hostile.
brother who will show up and you can kill him, but if you go talk to him first, he's like crying. He doesn't want to be part
And
of
I
this.
didn't, I
Like,
didn't do this guy. I missed
you
this guy.
probably killed
I
him.
didn't investigate that particular one at least. Yeah.
You probably killed him. That's what you did.
Oh,
You
he's
killed
dead.
the
Yeah, he's
crying
one of the
guy.
ones that
Yeah,
showed
he's
up.
dead.
Yeah,
Oh, he's dead.
he's a giant X.
Oh,
I'm
he's
like,
dead.
yeah, that
Yeah,
guy's really dead.
he's
Yeah.
yeah, he's super
He
He's
dead.
wasn't
Super dead.
enough to
he's
show
super
up.
dead.
Yeah. When
Yeah,
I saw him, when he saw me slaughter all of his brothers, he was pretty upset, I guess. So
he's out.
he's a
Yeah.
casualty.
Yeah, that'll do it.
There's little
That'll
elements
do
of
it.
it sometimes, like with some of the assassination rings. I get these little tiny, not the Nemesis system, but little tiny feelings of Shadow of War or Mordor, where it's like there's
I do
something
too.
about it where it's optional. It feels like mini bosses that you can track down and go find and then
Mm.
fight, but they're gonna have a posse with them, and so
Mm-hmm.
there's little elements of that too that I really do like. I like that part of it a lot. There's
Yeah,
Yeah.
still
don't call
some
it the Nemesis.
assassins.
It's
I know.
it's TM'd, right? It's
Yeah,
TM'd.
you're right.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get sued. I don't. There's
Thanks,
still little
WB.
elements of the Assassin's Creed kind of jank here and there. Like I'm clearly hidden by this bush, but for some reason I don't know, the stealth box in the bush was like the wrong shape or whatever, so I'm seeing there's all these little moments where it's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
like that
I'll jump
that
and
doesn't
like
make
hang
sense.
on to the thing I'm not wanting to hang on to. Like there's
Oh
all
yeah,
that stuff still there. Yeah. Like
that still
it's far
happens.
from it, but it is the most like stable Assassin's Creed I think I've ever played. I think
Yeah.
Valhalla
I
crashed on
think
me
it's
all the time.
Mhm.
Um I remember having problems like with just like some of the other ones as well, where just like there's just a lot of graphical problems or a lot of like missions
I
that
wonder
couldn't
if
like
the bump from
progress.
November to
I
this
think, I
past
mean, I
month
think they did
did it.
fine tune a lot of that stuff because, like, I haven't
Mhm.
had a single crash, and like usually
yeah,
any
I
open
haven't
world
either.
game on my PS5 that overheats too quick, like it'll crash at some point on long sessions.
Mm,
But this one, not it hasn't yet. I haven't had it one time.
Yeah.
It hasn't crashed at all. And then I think the one problem I had once, a simple reload like helped, So very functional game, for janky
Yeah.
in some places, but yeah, I'm not having like game breaking bugs or a lot of
I was gonna say
crashes.
for me,
So
the parkour is actually I mentioned to Tim. I think it was the episode you weren't here, Kyle. I feel like it's the best parkour since like
it's
I
really
think so
good.
too.
maybe
Yeah,
Syndicate, because Syndicates was actually pretty
Unity
fluid.
had some pretty good parkour too.
yeah.
Unity was
Yeah,
pretty good.
the up and down was because
Yeah.
they like changed the way it was mapped to the controller and actually was like really straightforward.
Yeah.
So Unity's was
Dude,
pretty
now he does
solid
some
too.
awesome flips that are totally unnecessary
Yes,
to get down from like a
So
but it's
fence or
awesome though.
whatever. It's so
It's
yeah,
cool.
awesome.
there's a video that like breaks down her free running by free runners, and they're like, you wouldn't do any of this. Like she's just doing this to show off. And I go,
Hmm.
good, yeah, like that's
Yeah, yeah,
that
Show
just
off
speaks to
more.
her. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
yeah.
just speaks to her
Please.
personality. She's like, I'm gonna look
Yeah.
cool while I'm doing all this.
Like she
Yeah.
like there's ones where like if you're going down the side of a hill and she's sliding, and if she like hits like gets to like a rock in a certain way, she'll actually like roll off of it, like just real
Oh, that's
Mm.
smooth
cool.
animation. She'll like
Yeah.
kind of like roll off of it but land on her feet like a freaking cat. Like
Yeah.
it's happened like not too many times, but it looks
Meanwhile,
really cool.
Yasuke
I
is
was like,
just
oh
like barreling through everything like so
yeah,
ungracefully, and yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Dude, when the seasons change, it seems like most of the treasure chests, not the like the unique ones that have a unique weapon, but most of them in the world all refill. So
Hmm.
you can just go back. Like for
mm,
example, in Kyoto, there's a burned down like temple area. I forget which one it is, Honoji or whatever. It's one of them that's like no longer occupied, and it's
mm,
probably got somewhere around 12 treasure chests or like resource loot nodes
Hmm.
that are there,
oh, and it just
and they
comes
reset
back.
every time. So every time a
Yeah,
season change, you go back and you just get a whole nother load of stuff. It's great.
yeah, the resource.
Nice.
I found one camp that has like one pallet of every resource, and every season change, I
Mm,
go back there and I just grab that. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, it's just
that's
a
a
great way to
unique
load it
one.
up because upgrading your main hideout is super important, especially that forge. Because, for example, I had this legendary level 7 weapon for Naue, and it quickly became weaker than like the common ones that you would pick up as
Hmm.
you picked up like a level 14 or level 15 one. But then you just go in there and you upgrade it. It's actually not that expensive to upgrade. If you haven't
right.
been spending a ton of money, you can upgrade
Yeah,
it, and then you get that thing up to your current level, and now that damage is like twice what a common version would be. It's so much better.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
You can add
so yeah, I highly
engravings.
recommend it.
You can fine
And the
tune
engravings are
the
great.
kind of
Yeah. And you
damage
can
that you're
find
doing.
rare engravings as
Yeah.
treasure too. Like you can get some rare ones which are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really powerful. So I
There's
love the
also a lot of
RPG
really
elements
cool.
of this game.
Me too. Yeah, there's also a lot of really cool like side quests that are tied to like hunting down certain items that are like in shops and stuff like that. There's just a really
Hmm.
cool. I don't know, man. Like for a lot of the things that like don't feel immersive about this game, like everyone just kind of like standing in town and some of
Sure,
the
sure.
smaller shortcomings. Like there is a lot of really immersive stuff where it's like
Yep.
the
Yeah.
game is making me go, hey, I heard a rumor that there's like a rare shopkeeper over here. Like, go investigate that. And you find them and you talk to them, and they have one of those rare tea kettles that like your tea kettle master,
Hmm.
wants to get his grubby little hands on. So I can buy that and take that to him. And I don't that kind of stuff is very immersive to me.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Cyberpunk 2077 did stuff like this too. We had to go to certain like shops and like buy certain thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, you have to go to get this thing because that's where it's sold. It's not.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just that type of stuff like keeps me in, and it makes me ignore mostly like the some of the lesser shortcomings of the open world.
Yeah, I do feel like
Yeah.
there is a little bit of static nature to a lot of the NPCs. Some areas it's not as bad. Like if there's farmers, they're working the
Yeah,
fields, or if the
yeah,
like you'll
they're
you'll
going through
see
an
some people
animation.
doing
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't think
Yeah,
anyone's
but
on like a.
sometimes
Everyone's obsessed with schedules, in these big open worlds. It's like follow an
yeah,
NPC
Sure,
around for a
sure.
day is like this would be the most boring game to do that in, but like
yeah,
people do look busy. I will
yeah.
say I feel like how much bandwidth is going to like loading in animals into this game? Because like
Gotta be a lot.
everywhere I go, there's like 20 deer and like 40 foxes,
Just
and I'm
running
like,
around
this is
like
not. This stuff used to crash GTA servers. You know, like they didn't have the
But
wildlife in their game
Kyle,
for
it's
the
not even
longest
just like
time.
one. It's always like a family of them. It's like a
It's
mom
like
and all the
1,000
babies, and
Yeah.
things, like, and there's like
and
rabbits
they just freaking
everywhere. Like
scatter. They just like
they're
scatter.
everywhere. Like it's
Yeah.
insane. Like that takes so much memory. It has to, you know. Like
Yeah.
so it is crazy. Like that is immersive. You know, like I don't know if that's how many animals would be there, but you know, it is
Or if
cool
a
to
deer
like.
would just stand there while I'm riding full speed on my horse down the pathway, and then we run into each other, and he's still like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sorry," like,
Yeah.
like, "All right, buddy." Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm loving that game too, man. I'm having an absolute blast with it, and I'm trying to play it like I usually. We've talked about this before. When I go to revisit games like this, is usually when I play it,
Mhm.
kind of my fun playthrough. I'm trying to do that playthrough now. I'm
Me
not
too.
Yeah,
worrying
yeah, yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yes, there's other stuff I want to play. There's new things that have come out I'm interested in. There's stuff that I've started but haven't gotten too much farther in. But why not just play the one that you're interested in at the moment? You know,
Yeah.
why not
Right.
just
If you're
enjoy it?
liking it, just
So
enjoy it. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm really having a good time with this one.
Yeah.
Is that the main one you're playing, Dan?
Yeah, just beside that, just with streaming Final Fantasy VI, just working on that.
Yes.
On Tuesday, I was not totally in the mood for six because I just didn't feel like reading the dialogue. So I actually started one of my games that I'll be playing after I finish six, which is Onimusha Warlords, which I
Was that
mean,
the
I'm
The
gonna
Super
remake?
rush you
Smash
guys.
Brothers? Oh no, that's the first one. I'm sorry. Yeah, I forget what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Super
yeah.
Smash Brothers one was called. I'm like, you got your hands on that?
Yeah, yeah, I don't remember what that one was called either. But yeah, so because I have the remaster on PS4. So I popped that in because I was like, I want to play some Onimusha. I haven't played it in a while. So, and I'm just excited for 2 coming out, obviously. So I
Yeah.
was just playing a bit of that on stream, and that was super fun because it's just real chill, just running around, cutting down more samurai themed stuff. I was
It is.
samurai
Amen.
Yeah.
samurai zombies, right? So
Right.
you know,
It's just samurai
Dan
Resident
Dan
Evil.
has a type, you guys. He has a type.
My favorite
I
is
do,
back
I
in
do
the
have
day
a
when
type.
people used to say, yeah, like it's just Resident Evil. It's just samurai Resident Evil. I go,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
samurai.
Yeah, like
And
why? That's not a criticism. Yeah, that's what it
yeah,
is, and that's
your
odd.
point.
Are you hearing yourself? Yeah.
Is there another
Yeah,
shoe that's gonna drop? Because this sounds
Yeah.
yeah,
amazing.
Right. What?
Yeah.
Where's the
yeah,
butt? Yeah. Like I don't.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
dummy. But yeah, that game's great. So yeah,
All right. Well,
that's basically it for
there's a
me.
couple other smaller ones I've tried some demos of here and there that will come up as we go through kind of our new game blitz, new games that have come out this week. So let's look at those right now. Here's some new stuff that's arrived this week. Of course, number one, PlayStation gamers can finally play one of last year's
Right.
surprise hits, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Really good game. Really
Yeah.
good game.
You're welcome, Sony.
So good.
Ba-da-ba.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, it's so good. And I still stand by the fact that Troy Baker's performance is kind of weird, weirdly good. Like I still don't understand how it's that close to Harrison Ford. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he just crushed
Phil
it, and it's
Spencer
a
said
really
that
fun
he's so
game.
happy with how well this IP game did that he wants to do more IP games, and I'm like, great.
Oh,
I
Like
I miss
generally
IP
speaking,
games.
IP games, like making a move,
Yeah.
like a okay,
He wants
okay.
to make a move on more properties and making giant AAA video games out of them. I'm
No, it's
like,
funny you mentioned that
please
because
and thank you.
I just watched the old school animated Aladdin with my youngest daughter last night, and my
mm.
wife was watching it a little bit too with us, and she's like, "Do you remember this game on Sega?" And I was like, "Yes, I love this
Dude,
game on Sega."
that's the
Like,
version I played was the second one. Yeah.
yeah, you had Aladdin, Lion King. You had there was like a 3-pack Aladdin, Lion King. There's one other Disney one that was just super fun side scroller that I remember from back in the day.
Um.
But
Like
Oh shoot.
kids IP games are Fortnite now. Like kids like they didn't really grow up
yeah,
in an era like because once like 20 like the late 20s happened before 2010 like it was all
Think
IP
about this one.
games all the way from
oh
like
yeah,
Nintendo all the way to like PS2 it was IP games IP and then like the Xbox 360 PS3 era they pulled back on that because IPs became so
yep,
expensive to get a hold of. They were like, hey,
yep,
we can just create our own IPs. And like, that's the generation we've been in forever now. And so a lot of kids
agreed.
were born into that. And like, they don't know the feeling of like going home and playing like a good, I don't know. Like, I just saw this movie and I'm going to want to go play its dumb game now. And maybe it's not always great, you know, but I feel like
Mhm.
now you kind of have to make those great. And this is a good example of a good IP game being great.
Yeah, and it's an original story and an IP we all know and love.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's
the
a
best
brand new
Indiana Jones
story
thing to come out in decades. Like so
since
long.
the Last Crusade, I would argue.
Probably, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't mind the last movie, but Crystal Skull's so bad. You still owe me 5 more good Indiana Jones movies before you get to that one.
Yeah, I
The taste
think
of that one out of my mouth.
I think Harrison's
Yeah.
got to go sleep. He's got to go to sleep.
No, he's gonna be doing Indiana Jones till he's 90.
That's what
We don't
AI
wanna
is for,
see it.
right? We can just
Yeah.
have AI.
Well,
Harrison
actually,
do
to
it.
stay on the Harrison Ford thread here, because you just mentioned how Phil wants more, IP games or whatever. They could do Blade Runner. Huh?
That'd be nice.
A
Blade
Blade
Runner
Runner
game?
game would be super cool.
Yeah.
I'd be curious what genre it would land in. You know what I mean? It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Would it be something
Yeah.
like
Be like
this,
a
like a first-person
cyberpunk kinda
action
game.
adventure?
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah,
Machine
think
Games
so.
doing it, I trust them more than I already.
I
I already
know,
trusted them,
yeah.
but like now I
I-
trust them even more.
I wonder if Machine Games becomes like they don't ever make another one of their IP games
I know.
ever again. Like they're just.
But you know what's
stuck,
interesting
like,
with Machine Games? Like they took Wolfenstein, which was, if you think about it, a pretty established old school IP, and they
mhm.
poured a lot of like love and care into making a new take
Yeah.
on Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I'd
And they
also
did
say
it
by the
again
time
with
that
Indiana
new one
Jones.
came out, like it was a dead IP. Like,
It was
I
a
don't
dead
think
IP.
people-
You're right.
Yeah, you don't really. There wasn't a lot going on with that IP, so for
Yeah.
them to like.
It was like a
make
Duke
one-
Nukem kind of a thing. It's like, this doesn't work
Yeah.
anymore these days. But
Yeah,
it totally
yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
So
It
I'm
really
a
did.
Machine Games fan. Like I'm on board with
I'll
whatever
play
they've
indie
got
games they
next.
put out, you know.
Yeah, man. I'm totally on board with whatever they've got up next. All right. Also out this week is the second tape or entry or half of
Oh,
Lost
yeah.
Records Bloom and Rage is now out.
Is this
So you can
the
play that
only
whole
the rest of it,
experience.
or was there only going to be 2
I
parts?
think it's just
or-
I think it's just part 2 of 2, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2 parts. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't
this one's
heard
called
Anything
Rage.
about this? Are people liking this? I haven't really heard anything about it, like anybody's takes or
Good
anything
question.
like that.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know.
Oh.
This one just came out I think 2 days ago, the second part, so I'm not
Maybe
sure.
a lot of people
what
are waiting to
takes
play
are.
it now that it's fully
I mean,
out.
that's what
you
I'm
know?
doing. That's what I was doing. So.
I like Don't Nod. I'll play it. I like the vibes of this game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it came out to much fanfare.
All right, so now you can get, I guess you can get the full experience for like at least on Steam. It's normally $40. You can get it for $34 right now. It's got a little bit of a sale.
Okay.
And the overall experience, parts 1 and 2 together, is in the low 80s on user
Okay.
reviews. So
Not bad.
on Steam at least, it's pretty good.
It's good. It's good.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
It's good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
We
We're all
keep
doing
going
our
up
high-pitched
octaves.
voices, so none of us are sure, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. None of us are convinced that we're actually
Yeah.
going to play it, but it's cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. So they
I mean,
got
this
Lost
seems like a
Records,
different
Bloom and
vibe
Rage.
compared to that first half, though. Like everything in this.
Well, yeah, because the
trailer
first
seems,
one was
like,
called
much darker.
Bloom, and this one's called Rage. So tape 1 was Bloom,
Yeah.
tape 2
Oh,
was
Bloom
Rage.
and Rage.
Okay. And Rage.
Yeah.
Despite all my
There it is.
rage, I'm
Tape 2.
just a Bloom.
Still
in
just
a
a Lost
cage.
Records in a cage. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
We nailed it. Go team. All right, next one.
I could tell they were Unreal just from the people alone. They had Unreal face. I could tell.
The Lunar Remastered Collection
Tim, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
is.
I want to see Dan get started actually on this.
I'm
Okay.
furious. I'm furious.
But just so the listeners are aware, you're not furious about the games. I know you're excited
No,
to get
no.
into these. You're furious
Yes.
about the retail experience with this.
Yeah, and this is why, and I get annoyed when people are like, "Oh, pre-ordering stupid." It's like, or I could have just been all set and pre-ordered it back when they announced, and I would have been all set instead of waking up that day and putting it in my cart and be like, "Okay, I guess I'll probably be fine." And then like an hour or two later, it was just fucking gone, just gone. Like, and
Wow.
it's sold out. Just the
Have you
PS5,
tried-
PS4
Is it sold
version.
out still?
Yes.
Have you been checking? Yeah,
Um,
staying on top of it.
Yeah, they did tweet out or whatever, like, hey, like we know,
So it's
sorry,
acknowledged.
like we're
Okay.
trying to make more, but it's like it's just the PS4 version. So Switch is still there available, the Xbox One is still available. So it's like, guys,
But
come
Dan's
on,
a
like,
Sony pony. You gotta
Dan,
get off that
being-
pony.
Being
I
the
need my
half
trophies.
full-
I need my
Being
trophies.
the half full cup guy, I will say, to look at it this way, a lot of major nerds out there. You know what I mean? Like this is like
it's true.
super old school nerd. Like nobody knows
Yeah.
what Lunar is unless you were born.
It's not a
in the
major
80s.
RPG IP either. It's not like a really well-known one.
It is a classic. Like when people when you look at lists, like it will probably be in the top 10 for like a lot of people's lists or whatever. But like, I'm kind of glad this is selling well, or at least physically,
for sure.
because that means there's a market for like redoing these things. And like, if you're looking at this, if you're watching instead of listening, they
Except plot twist, there were 2 physical copies made for the PS4. So that's
they
honestly
redrew everything over like all the cinematics. Like they
Wait a minute. They redrew all this stuff?
Yeah, like it's not pixelated anymore. Like that's all animation. That's all.
I just assumed that was those cutscenes were in the original like that.
No, they were in the original and they looked like that. But like if you do a side by side comparison, like one's way low res. Like they did. It's more than just
sharper now.
They touched up. It's
sharper.
That's
so cool.
I
love that. That's cool.
And also the pixels. I mean, like it's vibrant. The colors are vibrant. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Like this is a good remaster. I know that like. Maybe people want more out of remasters, which is maybe why the reviews aren't like, wow, they blew out the doors here. But like, you're getting exactly what they say that you're getting is 2 games that are totally touched up and looking good. And again, if you've never played these games are fantastic.
The art style does look really cool. I like the way it looks. This kind of old and new.
This big drummer boy. That's fun.
Yeah, that's really why I'm always just such a big proponent of these like remasters when people just get sort of
there you go. There you go.
See how like pixelated it is?
Yeah, that was really pixelated. Yeah, that was a huge difference.
Because I don't know if you guys like know, but like the Grandia collection like it was limited run games, and they're I guess kind of weird about it. Like they really make a limited amount of these copies.
Yeah.
And you can't buy them physical anymore. I actually bought recently the Grandia collection on eBay for higher than I really wanted to, but now I have it physically.
We're back to games retaining higher value than MSRP. We're back.
So
that's awesome.
I want these types of games on a disc. Like I want to make sure I have them.
I get it.
Yeah, people need to be out there to be gaming historians and librarians, and like we need this stuff to like stand the test of time. That's why I'll always be for like these remakes or remasters or whatever. I think that it's so important that we maintain like video game history, and like games like this would be a really easy one to just like, we never thought about it ever again. You know what I mean? Like before this came out, like how many people were talking about Lunar, like so nobody. Things do get lost to time. They do. Like, you have to put them back in, you have to like make them playable in a way that is beyond getting an old console out that may not work anymore and trying to find like a copy of this and try like which I'm sure like copies of this on PlayStation 1 and Sega CD are expensive. I'm sure they're not cheap to like get these.
A lot of most
of
these RPGs
is that what they released on originally? Was Sega CD and
PS1? Yep.
Yeah. Well, Kyle, I'll be the librarian. I'll be the sexy librarian for you. Don't you worry.
That's why I'm for, like, if you're out there and you're emulating games, keep doing it, guys. I know it's like taboo, but like we need to keep copies of these games alive and well. I'm not for stealing video games, but like it is important that people have like copies of them and like on hard drives somewhere, just so we don't lose them.
Well, guys, another game that's out this week is called Soul Slinger: Envoy of Death. And it is a first-person shooter, kind of with this creepy fantasy western vibe to it. A little bit of Witchfire vibes. It looks maybe faster than Witchfire. But it's got a cool look to it. So this is called Soul Slinger: Envoy of Death. It just came out. I think people are liking it.
Oh, nice.
So
looks interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Full version is out. It must have been in early access or something. That's what I'm guessing by that. Full version. So there you go. Soul Slinger is out, as is Tempest Rising. So this is as you can see there in the little quick sizzle reel they showed, very Command and Conquer-esque RTS type of a deal. So you've got a guy that's hyping you up, I guess, for the mission. I'm assuming that's what he's doing as he walks around his desk in this cutscene. Reminds me of the Red Alert games a little bit, but
I was gonna say I never played those, but those were kind of tongue in cheek, right? Like were those kind of goofy or
kind of? Yeah, they had serious. I think they were serious, but like they did the live action stuff, and like people were like overacting, You know, like
It wasn't like
kind of a fun.
Helldivers. Like, there wasn't clearly comedy like that.
Yeah,
That's a good yeah, absolutely. Just FYI, that Soul Singer game is $8, so
8?
it's not. Yeah, it's not some like.
Wow.
It looked pretty good for an $8 game.
It did
Yeah,
look pretty good for
that's-
$8.
I'll say.
Makes
Kinda
you
crazy
wonder.
how
Makes
that-
you wonder, like, what's going on in that game? What are they doing that makes it only
Yeah.
$8?
What are they doing?
They used AI to make all of its assets. Yeah.
I mean, would you be surprised?
Nope.
I would not.
Recent
Well,
reviews
this
say
one-
mixed, so.
This is a remake or remaster or some version of. It's one of those R's. I don't know which one it is. But this is called Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate. So I guess it's
Oh,
like this.
Okay.
You familiar with this?
Renee,
No.
Renee and I played one of these. I don't know if it was actually this series, although those characters look very familiar. Maybe this
Is this
kinda
a side
similar
scroller like
in some-
Castle Crashers?
Yeah, like a beat 'em up.
look-
Yeah, like side scrolling
It's like a
beat 'em
beat 'em
up.
It looks like a beat 'em up type of a game. Yeah,
It looks fun.
looks pretty wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, this ultimate version is, I guess, a remake or a remaster of this game. People love it. Like, it sounds like it's got a pretty strong fan base that's pumped about this one. So
I swear it
There
was
you go.
one of these. There might be more.
there's the
We played on
title
the
of it:
Switch.
Phantom Breaker
Phantom
Battlegrounds
Breaker.
Ultimate. Lots of anime children killing each other.
So
That's what it
much
looks like.
Yeah,
anime.
little chibi
they're
anime
probably-
girls murdering each
They're
other.
probably
yeah.
actually like 50 years old, but they look like little
Yeah,
kids.
right.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Also out, this just has a cool look to it. This Minecraft vibe. It's called Block
Oh.
Fortress 2.
Oh, look at this.
The fully destructible environments where you're looks like
Little
just
voxel.
defending against hordes of enemies. Yeah, the voxel destructive stuff. But you build your
I
base
like
and
build a
you defend
base.
it.
This is like what
Oh,
Fortnite
okay.
used to be. You build a base and you like survive
Yeah,
a wave.
yeah.
Back when Fortnite was good. Remember that, guys?
Yeah, when people cared, right? When people cared.
Yeah, people never cared about that.
Well, don't worry.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Disney just invested like $1 billion into Epic Games, so it's only going to get better. Don't worry about it.
Oof.
It's not going to get
Yeah.
more
Crazy.
markety and corporate at all. It's gonna be fine.
Fortnite corporate? Get out of here. That's not
So
gonna
this,
happen.
I just thought this one had a cool look to it. I'm not usually like
Yeah.
a proponent of let me play all the Minecraft voxel stuff, but this just looked really
yeah,
cool.
I think this looks great. Yeah,
Block Fortress 2.
2. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
so
sequel.
that is
So.
out. It's a sequel. Yeah, it's true.
Sequels
They
are
had enough
always better
success.
in every case ever. We
Yeah,
all know
always.
this.
100%.
We all know this.
100%.
That's right. No exceptions. This is Mandragora, Whisper of the Witch Tree. Very much a Souls-like side-scroller game. I remember I got the demo last fall, but I just can't remember what I thought of it. It was during one of the Next Fest things when I played like 20 demos in one weekend.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to put my finger on it if I like this one or not. I have a feeling I thought it was fine, but I just didn't get too far enough into it to really tell. Some of these graphics do look familiar. I just can't remember if I tried it. But anyway, it's getting pretty solid, like mid 7s to high 7s, just in terms of user review scores. So like mid to high 70s. I assume it's hard. Like if it's got the Souls-like element with the big boss fights. So I assume that could be part of the negativity, but who knows?
Yeah.
So anyway, definitely a Souls-like though. Huge skill tree. Look at that thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say
skill tree.
that's pretty.
That part's not very Souls-like. The big skill
After
tree.
seeing
That's-
Pillars of Eternity skill tree, I'll never say that's a huge skill tree ever.
You know what? That's true. That's true. It's true. It makes the Assassin's Creed Shadows skill tree look adorable. You know.
Yeah.
That's-
No, this
that's
looks
cute.
manageable. Yeah.
No, that's cute. So there you go. Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. Oh, I already went to the next game by accident. Bionic Bay. All right, so this one's out. Bionic Bay. It's a
Looks cool.
platformer.
Oh.
It's got a really
Yeah.
cool style to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's only
this
I think
looks
it's
so
on
cool.
I think it's $18 right now, but yeah, you get different powers to control time and things like that. Gravity. That's
Oh,
awesome.
get out of here! Shut up.
Yeah.
I remember
But
this.
Dan,
one
I know
was
you
cool.
especially you like a good precision platformer too, Dan. I know you, but
Yeah.
look at that.
Oh, this would
that
drive
was
me
a good-
insane, but I would
Oh,
love to watch
jeez.
someone
Oh my
watch. I
God.
mean, this is so like gonna drive me insane. But I love everything that I'm saying. Like this looks so. It looks like out of this world a little bit. You know, like
Oh yeah, I
Mm.
remember that.
yeah,
game.
just a little bit. Like wait, obviously when we're
Oh my God.
puzzly stuff.
Just flip that. Yeah, I don't know what it is about these kinds of games. It's just like I don't like letting it beat me. So it's like I need to beat
I
you
will get
because
you.
I can't let
yeah.
you beat me. I will
But-
get
It
you.
looks like inside a little bit. Like this looks
yeah.
wonderful.
It's got a really
Yeah.
cool style to it. I love the lighting effects on these levels. Bionic
Oh,
Bay.
okay.
is out now. So I'm gonna grab that one. I think it's 18
cool.
bucks. Normally 20. So yeah.
Looks
I'm gonna
cool.
grab that one too.
Yeah. All right, here's another kind of throwback game called Drive Rally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it kind of has an old school look to it. Old school arcade look to
Yeah.
it, but I kind of like the cell shading-ish
Yeah.
style
too.
to
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
Steering wheel
like it.
support, guys. Brush off your USB steering wheels.
Hey, I've been waiting for that opportunity.
I had gotten a code for this actually on one of those sites, that streamers can get codes. I just never actually played it, but I liked the look of it a lot. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll actually try this, and I just did.
This
get
looks
around
really
If
to it.
you
cool,
do, let me
yeah.
know. It does look fun. Like if the arcade
Yeah.
driving feels pretty good, I'd be totally down for giving it a whirl. So
If there's a dumb story, I'm even more in.
yeah, you're right.
It's a
You're
dumb
right.
story.
And the fact that it's got hashtag in the title does make me hesitate a bit. Like hashtag Drive Rally.
Yeah, it's only $14, and it's sitting at very positive right now. 82%,
Okay.
115 reviews.
Okay.
So
I do
doing pretty
think that
alright.
most users take the price into account. If you're spending less than 20 and it's pretty fun, it's going to get a, generally speaking, a positive. As long as it's not broken, it's going to get generally
Steam Deck verified.
positive.
Oh,
Hey.
Steam Deck
I'm just looking at all this stuff right now.
Yeah, Drive Rally looks pretty fun. So does Lost Skies, a little bit enshrouded, and some of these other games.
This looks cool.
The Valheims and stuff like that. But Lost Skies, I think, looks awesome. I love the style of it.
Around like that?
Yeah, a lot of zipping around, a lot of exploring. I
Mhm,
believe there's some crafting and survival
I was gonna
elements to this as well.
How's the building?
A good question. Good question. I can't tell if that was like placeholders and you have two to
you're building
choose
like an
from.
airship. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, look at that
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
Building your ship. You can climb, Zelda style. Lasers, of course.
Great
It's a lot going on in this. Holy crap.
Yeah, this.
I wonder how the combat is too. You know what I mean? Look, you can build your own worlds.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, you can build a floating island.
The developer originally they made like a build your own kind of Worlds Adrift was the product that they made. It was like a playground
Use that
type
probably
of
as a stepping stone to make this.
Yeah. So Lost Skies. I thought that looked pretty fun. I might give that one another look. So Lost Skies. And then I did try the demo for this one, White Knuckle, because I thought, neon white a little bit. It is much more because it's so momentum based and so kind of physics momentum based, where you either use your right and left mouse clicking or your right and left triggers on a controller to grip with your two hands and to pick up items and use them. And I found it to get challenging real fast, even in the demo. I was like, yeah, okay, I have to really pay attention. Your hands will start to turn red as you lose stamina with that hand. You got to switch to the other hand, and you got to get momentum going. And if you miss it, you could fall and have to restart. So it definitely would take some getting used to, but it is pretty cool, and I know people are really liking it. So
yeah, it's a clever idea. I like that.
Yeah. Kind of looks like a VR game. Like that's how
it does look like VR with the two hands.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. But it is it's again physics, momentum based. Like if that's not your thing, if you don't want to hold on with both hands and like constantly have to think about hand placement and all that, it's not like Neon White to me was much more of an arcade sprinting kind of experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this one,
yeah.
This one not as much like that. So anyway, but it is out now in early access. You can check it out. White Knuckle is out now. Also, Wisdom Academy. I do like a good kind of like city builder manager, but this is like where you're building an actual like Hogwarts, basically. Like it's you're building your own wizardry academy. So there you go.
Yeah.
Magic Academy.
Yeah.
So I like this kind of stuff sometimes. I'll wait to see what some of the reviews come back on it, if it's actually worth my time. If I feel that itch. Because I also want to play 2 Point Museum if I'm going to get into that mode of management and stuff. I kind of want to do that game too. But
yeah.
Anyway. There you go. Build your own Magic Academy, Hogwarts style. And then, last but not least, okay. First of all, did you guys ever play RuneScape back in the day? I never got into it.
Yes.
I had friends that played it, but I never played. I was the room while they were playing it on PC, but never played it myself.
That's why I reacted viscerally when you mentioned that. I was like, RuneScape.
Yeah,
I didn't play like an insane amount, but.
That's an MMO, isn't it? Isn't it an online game?
Yes, yeah. It the original one looked like it was like a Flash. Like I don't know if you guys remember Flash on your PC.
Yeah, this and Ultima Online were like.
Yeah.
like big at
Yeah.
that time, you know?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
spent their whole lives playing these, right? These were like this.
Mhm.
If it's like this is the game that I'm gonna play from now on, like that's it.
But
So I
like
totally
RuneScape
get
was
it.
like rough looking. Like visually, it
Yeah.
was rough.
Right, and it's also been around for a long time.
Yes.
But this, so of course, it's the same devs, right? They own the IP. I just double checked, yeah, and they still kind of run their RuneScape Classic
Wow.
servers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But this is called RuneScape Dragon Wilds. It is a 1 to 4 player multiplayer action adventure survival game. And the reviews on it, the user reviews are coming back fantastic. I can jump ahead a little bit. There's a
Nice.
bunch of this kind of really cool art style at the beginning. Let me jump ahead where you can start to see some of the
Actual gameplay.
the gameplay. Yeah, there's a lot of gameplay on YouTube you can watch as well. Okay, so RuneScape Dragon Wilds, I believe it's its own standalone game separate from the main game, but it looks
Yeah.
really good.
Man, this is night and day.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
but yeah, it looks like some fun third-person combat, building.
Ooh.
Oh, I like the
Like,
I
it's
like
got-
the style of it. I like
I
the
do
style of
too.
it.
Yeah, it's got
What if
some
there's like
elements that
there's
I'm.
like quests, you know? Like, well, I wonder what the
I
structure
think
is.
so. It might be more
Let's
like
say, like,
Valheim
that
and
would look great in
Enshrouded,
a
where you kind
dungeon.
of like you got to
Stumble
explore
upon
and
dungeons. Yeah.
stumble upon stuff to do. I would imagine there's some of that too. It's hard to say. It looks very colorful. It looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard some of the complaints because I was looking through Steam reviews. It seems like it still needs, if I remember correctly, I think it's this one, some optimization on PCs.
Okay.
Like it's
But
just
yeah,
kind
early
of
access.
not running
Early
super
access.
smooth.
Mhm.
Which is, if that's the main thing, I'm like, dude, I might love this game. If that's the main
Yeah.
Dude,
drawback.
Good for them though, because yeah, I mean the original RuneScape. I mean, jeez, I remember that was like early 2000s. I was playing that, so or maybe late 90s. I don't even know.
It
So,
had been late 90s because by early 2000s I was playing EverQuest, which was my first MMO.
Okay.
EverQuest.
Yeah.
EverQuest.
Dude, I played some EverQuest. I mean, I played a
Grind
lot of
the video
EverQuest 2.
game.
EverQuest 2
EverQuest
was
2 rocked,
fantastic.
dude. Yeah, I remember when
Yeah.
like EverQuest 2 came to like PS2, like with the hub, and I was just like, we're living in the future, baby.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
I know it
11
was.
as well.
Do you remember
Yeah.
EverQuest
Yeah.
2 and World of Warcraft released right around the same time? And it was a big, like, are you EverQuest or WoW? Like, which one are you?
Yeah, I was
Sure.
definitely an
And for a
EverQuest
while-
person until somebody was like, you should play WoW, and
Yeah.
I go, oh, no, this is
Me
better
too.
for sure.
Dude, I was 100% the same. I was like, I'm not going with that mainstream garbage of WoW.
ugh,
And
Blizzard, where they play those dumb real time strategy games, get out of here, you know. Like,
but then,
I
of
was
course,
so
I finally
anti-
played it, and I was like, this might be the best thing I've ever played.
yeah.
WoW's amazing. But
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah,
While I was playing
RuneScape,
11,
Dragon.
I was
You were
playing
playing Final
I was
Fantasy
playing 11
11.
and
Final
WoW
Fantasy 11 on my
tandemly.
PS2.
Yeah.
I backed out of that game so fast. I think
11
was
was is to this day the most hardcore MMO
It's
I've ever
very
played in my life.
tedious. It's very
Yeah.
tedious.
Yeah.
very
I remember
tedious.
waiting outside of the sand dunes, the legendary, infamous sand dunes, and
Sure.
just like, I need a party to get me through. Please,
Yeah.
for the love of God, like
Yeah.
I just need a party to drag me through this. You know, I need to
Yeah.
get to the other
Yeah.
city. You know,
Yeah.
I remember camping out hours for those legendary monsters that only pop up like at certain times of day. I had
was rough.
man, 11 is one of the greatest.
Dude, the
I
things we
love that
sacrificed for
game.
gaming back in the day, we were like, I'll wait for
Dude,
this.
I used to literally sit in server on Final Fantasy 11 for hours with friends, like just like, well, he'll spawn in
Just
like 3
waiting.
hours. You could go do other things. Like he spawned at a specific time, you know, but we'd all wait
Sure.
because like you wanted to be there because like you had to get a hit in to like get loot, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
man,
That's awesome. I'm sure people who have played MMOs can relate. People who can't are like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, man, that's what we did. That's what we did. We waited. We did a lot of waiting.
But even MMOs now is like night and day. Like 14 compared to 11, it's very different.
Yeah.
It's
14
very
is
Especially
like
if you were
streamlined.
if you were trying to
Yeah.
join, like organize a raid back in the day, you're talking about you would need to set aside like so many hours, and a lot of those are just on the front end organizing and getting people
Yeah.
ready and grouped
Yeah.
up and all that stuff. So yeah, if you want to, all the hours that go into prepping for something like that, and then of course you could always go watch the classic Leroy Jenkins moment where he just runs in to the boss fight. It's just one of my favorite moments because it's so
the best.
horrible,
Yeah, it's the best.
but it's so great. Anyway, all right. So that's it for new stuff. A lot of cool little like smaller. Oh, I didn't know this existed kind of games that I'm
Yeah.
absolutely gonna give a look in between my Assassin's Creed shadowing that's happening. Now coming up this week, I know we've got Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That's a pretty big one.
Dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I know. I'm excited to hear what you guys think about that. Not that I'm not going to play it. It'll be on Game Pass, so like I do want to give it a try. It's just not what I'm prioritizing super high. But I am excited to hear what you guys think about it when it does arrive. I'm trying to think of what else is coming out. That's one of the big ones. Might be the only main big one.
Well, the Switch 2. Well, we'll probably get to that, but it's the same.
Oh, pre-orders. Pre-orders, yeah. I guess there's a remastered version of Days Gone. Interesting that Sony's doing that. That goes up next week too.
Yeah, $10 if you already own it. So
there you go. Okay, let me hit pause on this.
Remember when they were talking about Days Gone and they're like, we're not making a sequel because this game sucks and we're not going to spend more money on it.
Yeah, and then the creator was like,
And
here's
they're
what I
like,
pitched for the sequel, and everyone's like, that sounds amazing. Like, what's
stupid.
going on?
You know, yeah, it sounds great, but we're not going to give you money. And he's like, okay. And then he said a lot of bad things about Sony, and then they remastered his. I can't follow.
I don't understand.
I just can't follow. Yeah,
any of it.
This might be the swing back from all the stuff with the games as service. I wonder if it's kind of like the.
It's funny because when you talk to people about that game, and I'm not one of them. I think that game is totally fine, but like a lot of people really enjoy that game.
Yeah.
So that when
I didn't mind it.
It was okay.
I never finished it, but I did play.
I don't like it as much as most people, but
I never finished it. But I did play a good number of hours, and I thought it was fun. I thought it was pretty fun.
I like seeing games of that caliber like get celebrated so much. So I'm like, yeah, good. Yeah, it's okay to be okay. You know.
Yeah, I agree. Something about the post-apocalyptic world with any kind of like zombie type stuff. I usually want either. Well, obviously, I want this in every game. I want to have a great story and excellent gameplay. But if it doesn't really knock it out of the park with at least one of those, it is hard to keep me engaged. I thought the Days Gone gameplay was good and decent. The open world was fine, and the story was like okay. You know, I get it, but I don't know. Neither one of them really captured me. But it could have been. It could have been like just the timing. I wasn't really up for that kind of game either. You never know.
Sure.
You never know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Some headlines from this week. Dan just mentioned one of them. That is that Nintendo Switch pre-orders do officially go live across most major retailers this week on the 24th. So if you've got a retailer that you're eyeing, that you're hoping to get a pre-order in, make sure you set a little alarm. Figure out what time of day those go live. It depends on the retailer. I think most of them I think it's that morning of the 24th.
Is that what they're saying? I didn't know. I was like,
some are at midnight. Like I think GameStop is at midnight. I think so. It just depends. I think each one of them is a little different for those pre-orders. So just keep an eye on those.
Yeah.
And see if you can get yourself a copy. Now Nintendo they're adamant that they have been preparing to have the supply that they will need for the expected demand. I will believe it when I see it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. If these things are hard to come by and like everyone wants one, I'm going to ask everybody, why were we so mad about this announcement? Yeah. I will ask everybody that. Like, why is it selling out then? Like, why is it so hard to get it? Like, if everybody was so mad about it, why can I not get one? You know, like.
Now I saw a rumor.
I'm going to be bitching a lot next episode, I guess.
I can't wait. I'm so excited for that. But I saw a rumor that GameStop stores are expecting in the first wave to get about 100 units each store
per store.
So I was thinking like, okay, is that a lot? I don't know. I don't know if that's a lot. I do remember like when the PS5 things were coming out, that when they would get another wave of it, it'd be like, all right, we have 22 more, and if you're number 23 or past it in line, too bad, come back next time. Like I remember they weren't getting huge shipments of these things, so I did start to wonder, is 100 per store for the launch wave? Is that actually a really good sign? Is that not?
I mean, with how small GameStops are these days, like where do you fit 100?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, okay, what's Walmart and Best Buy and Target getting?
Most of your stock, your back rooms is just consoles, you know. So it's like, it sounds like a lot to me. I don't know.
It sounds like a lot to me too.
When I worked at GameStop and the PS3 was launching and the Wii was launching, like we got like 40 or something like that.
Okay.
Like it wasn't 100. And then
we also think about the size of these little boxes, right?
A couple times a week, you know.
The Switch 2 boxes are like what, a sixth of the size of the PS5 box, probably.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like the PS5 box. sorry to say this. I know, Dan, you really love Sony, and that's totally fine that you're such a Sony pony. I get it. But
True.
the PS5 console and box size are a little ridiculous. I think we can agree.
And they have
Listen,
been since PS3, I would like to say.
It has
I think
been.
the PS3
The
box
lady,
size was,
the
like,
ladies
insane
say
as well.
the ladies say size counts. You know, it's all about
Who? What ladies?
big-
What are you, who
bigger
are you
is
talking
better.
about?
Bigger is better.
We're talking about GameStop. There's no ladies.
Yeah. Girls don't play games. Yeah, what are you talking about?
What? I like how we're like reverting back to early '90s with our
Yeah.
mentality. Of
Ugh,
like,
everybody, drink your Sobe and
Ugh.
let's shit on women. You know,
get your Mountain
it's
Dew.
the '90s again, bro.
Oh my gosh,
It's your
radical.
Surge. I'm gonna get some Surge.
Yeah,
Surge. Oh my
yeah.
word, that might have been one of the shortest lived like beverage pushes I've ever seen. Surge. By the way, I did have some Surge back in the day, and I remember thinking this is
too.
good, and then the aftertaste kicked in. I was like, oh, this is awful. And
It's all caffeine on the back end of that. You're like,
and
oh
yeah,
my God.
and also you have to like immediately go take a leak. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
types of
And then
drinks
you
that
have
your
to
body's
burn off.
like,
I just
you know how
remember
your
being a
body tells you
psychopath.
right away, like, hey, there's some good stuff. We're gonna filter it through. It's like none of this is good. Send it straight out. Send it straight
Yeah.
out.
Get
And
it
so
out. Get it out. Get it out.
yeah,
I remember drinking one of
There's
these
n-
at lunch and being an
yeah.
absolute psychopath on the playground, like as a kid. Like this is way too much energy for like an 8-year-old. Like
That's a commercial that they would actually show
Stop.
in the '90s. Is look how crazy
yeah,
it'll make you.
it's just me running across
Yeah.
the playground going, "Wah!" You know, like that's the whole commercial.
Yep. By the way, this was as reported by a publisher. I think it's Marvelous. Said this that as far as they're aware, when you buy a Switch 2 edition of a game, that cart will also work in a Switch 1. It just obviously won't have the perks of being the Switch 2 edition. So I'm not sure what that means. If that means like maybe you don't get a Switch 2 right away, but you might get one someday. Maybe start buying when you buy a new game, get the Switch 2 edition, because then you'll
Sure,
have the
sure.
upgrade. If that turns out to be true of all games,
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but it sounds like the Switch 2 editions of games that also do work on Switch 1 will still work on a Switch 1. Which the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, that makes sense, because if it's a game that should also be back, should also work on a Switch 1, it'd be kind of crappy to accidentally buy the Switch 2 edition of a game that looks the same,
Right.
and it doesn't work at all.
I think that's
So,
smart to set it up that way in case, like
if that's true,
because if
right.
like your mom or your parents like go into the store, they get the Switch 2 version. If it didn't like let it go into the Switch 1, then it's like, well, I got to go back to the store, get the Switch 1 version.
Agreed. Speaking of the Switch 2, sounds like according to a recent rating release, I think it was the PEGI rating, Assassin's Creed Shadows might be hitting Switch 2 at some point.
Okay.
Which would be
Sure.
kinda interesting. And I
Can
know it's more
Can it
powerful,
run Kingdom Hearts not on cloud though? That's what I'm really wondering.
Honestly, I hope it just
the
stays that way because it'd be hilarious.
I want
only-
to know if you can run Kingdom Hearts on the Switch. I gotta know.
It's impossible, Kyle. It's
they're going to
impossible.
release a card version of Kingdom Hearts for the Switch 2, but it's still just a link to go play it on the
it's a
cloud.
download.
That's pretty horrible.
So what you're
all right.
saying is Kingdom Hearts 4 on the Switch 2 is going to be a cloud version.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you get it. Well, this week we had a Nintendo Direct that was all centered on this game right here, and that is Mario Kart World. And they went over a ton of details. Probably not everything people wanted to see. Like some people wanted to see more in-depth things, full character lists, all that. But they did give, it was about a 16, 17-minute show. They did give a lot of details. Now, sometimes Nintendo does sound a little silly when they do their advertising. It can sound a little bit too like, please be excited. Like it can sound too much like that.
Sure.
I get it. But I found it overall to be for me personally, a great hype video for me to be excited about a game that I'm already going to get. I'm already excited for this. It didn't change that one way or the other. But they did reveal a couple cool things that I thought were worth.
They showed me the only thing I needed to see, which is battle mode. I'm like, okay, great. That's my favorite mode. Yeah,
the battle mode looks like a lot of fun.
I'm in. Yep. That's great. Thanks for having it.
Yeah, it was some kind of like coin.
I wasn't even thinking about that a couple weeks ago when they announced the game. I wasn't like, "Where's battle mode?" And then when they showed it, I'm like, "Oh my god! Like, balloons are back!" Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, dude, big time. So they showed a handful of new courses, and they gave you kind of a quick tour over top of those, and then you get the names of a lot of other ones as they kept showing the overworld map or the Grand Prix. You kind of get a quick glimpse if you want to pause it to see the names of a lot of the new courses, not all, but a lot of them. And then they did say that there's plans to bring back a good number of classic courses, and they named a bunch of those. Again, not all of them.
Interesting.
I think it's fair to expect that they will be rolling out DLC waves again, because I
Sure.
think that was pretty successful for them,
Yeah.
where they would release some new stuff and then some, classic packs and those kind of things. They talked about the open world free roam. Let me see if I can find that in here. I thought that was pretty cool. Teams. Yeah, free roam. Here we go. So, there's the Coin Runners battle mode you were talking about. So free roam. Free roam is at first I heard it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess, if you want to just drive around and do nothing. Well, they apparently have many dozens, maybe even into the hundreds of secrets and missions or challenges, I guess you could call them, to complete. They also have a full-on photo mode that you can do in free roam, because obviously you can pause the game more easily doing it that way.
Yeah.
You could do a photo mode, and you can also invite friends to join you and just drive around. You can race each other. You can do the challenges together, take pictures together, whatever. The idea is like, here's a hangout spot. It's also where it will throw you when you're waiting. Let's say that a group of us decided to play together and we're waiting to jump into a Grand Prix or a knockout tour. You go into free roam while you're waiting for everyone to load in, and you just drive around and explore.
That's cool.
For people. And then they'll pop up on your map, and it'll ask if you want to warp to them. So
I appreciate that they're actually putting, because like I initially did think it was like, oh, you just kind of roam around and you're just kind of like seeing stuff. That's fun. But like the fact that they're actually putting things to be like, oh, what's that over there? And then they, it was just showing Baby Peach, grinding on the ropes there to get the blue coins.
Yep.
It's like, oh, okay.
And those blue power buttons will unlock a challenge, like collect all these coins before time runs out. Like a lot of Mario-ish challenges. There's photo mode.
But things that do, like in the world, like a la like Forza Horizon, although obviously to like a more stripped back, extent. But like even the cool stuff, like, hey, you can find all the diners like on the map, and driving through the diner gets you a food item, and the food item gets you a new outfit that now you can choose like from the menu.
That's
cool.
right.
Yeah, I like that stuff. That's super cool. So if I like have a really cool cowboy outfit and y'all are like envious of it, I can go, I know, follow me, guys. I know where it's at. Like I like that. That's
let's go to the diner.
Let's go to the diner, guys.
I think they had, was that towards the end? I know they talked about the outfits with Yoshi's food at one point.
Yeah, it's a Yoshi's diner. Yeah.
They showed some new items.
Dude, look at Toad.
So so all the outfits you can get, you can unlock all kinds of outfits, like Kyle was saying, by eating different meals when you swing through the diner. So that's a cool way to unlock outfits. And then they're unlocked permanently. So anytime you use that character, you can use that outfit that you unlocked.
Dude, there's so much going
right
on.
there. Yeah. I feel like I need to like say it again. It looks so chaotic. Like it looks like there's so much going on, and I'm so excited for like how busy the screen's gonna be.
Yep.
And like
I agree.
I think people are gonna. I'm shocked at how good it looks. Like I know it's just there's a big
I'm more excited than I was
there.
before for the knockout tour. I didn't realize there's going to be 8 different knockout tours, and they map them out in a really interesting way. If you saw the map there a couple seconds ago, where they were showing you the different routes that you'll go, and then of course you're going between those as well. But anyway, the knockout tour I still think is a fascinating new mode. I think it seems like a no-brainer now that they've said it. I'm like, yeah, they should have always had something like this, but it's there now, and I'm excited for that one. So I think knockout tour is going to be a lot of fun. Some of the new items that they added. Let's see if I can find them here.
The Hammer Bros thing looked great.
Yeah, some of there's
like the hammer is like a big mist they can hit out in front of them, and become obstacles.
Yeah, the coin shell looks like one of the more useless ones where you throw it ahead and you collect coins. But I'm sure it's helpful.
Yeah, well, maybe you hit them with a shell, but you're getting coins.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
But look, your people are racing against you can collect those coins if you aren't good enough. Ice Flower, of course, does what you would expect to do. It freezes enemies. The hammer attack is awesome.
I love that.
Okay, that seems rough.
Yeah. Seems like I'm gonna hit myself with those. That's what it seems like.
That's a lot of hammers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mega
Mushroom looks like a lot of fun, of course. Yeah. And then the feather, where you can it's a simple jump, but it could make a huge difference with something like this when the red shell's coming at you.
Yeah. You're probably getting a lot of those if you're in first place.
A lot of feathers, a lot of bananas, I would imagine.
No blue shells.
Yeah. And you can also summon Kamek, and he can come, and apparently he's got lots of different magics that he can cast, including turning them into, or like adding a bunch of these bruiser characters and stuff. So, and then they highlight just a bunch of the ones that already exist, like Bullet Bill and things like that. So So yeah, they talk about how there's a Joy-Con 2 wheel. Of course there is. Apparently accessories are not going to be super cheap, but anyway, that's going to be
Nope. No, they're not.
available if you want it. And then
I'm
look at
sorry.
this
Does
character
anybody still
screen.
play this like with motion? Like, who's
Here's the food.
playing?
Look, she's like wearing a
Here's the food.
geisha. You know, ugh, so cool.
Yeah, so you get the food, and then when you eat it, it does this little thing, and then boom, you got a new outfit that unlocks on that character.
Mm.
And then so she's gonna eat the sushi, and then she gets this kind of geisha outfit. Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty cool. I like that.
Look at it! Look at these sumo outfits that
look at
he's
this, look at him
wearing.
dancing.
I know. Okay, but real quick, if you just do the math, so you've got 12 characters here on the screen. If this is truly 12 per slot, I think we're looking at over 140, close to 150 characters potentially.
Right.
Now, I'm like, hopefully that doesn't mean that each outfit unlocks a new character slot, because then that's going to be very misleading. But
I wonder if that's what it is.
it could be, because
are there 140 characters in the Mushroom Kingdom?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's so many.
Oh
That's
yeah,
so
if
many.
you're including like, because they've showed the penguin.
All right, Dan, name them all then, if you're so sure. Name
There's the
everything. All 140. We got
snowman.
time.
There's the Goomba, Bullet Bill that turns into Bullet Bill, like, which would be hilarious. But so it didn't show any. So like when you actually, like if you did hit play, because I didn't notice, there wasn't any sort of like thing that looked like you could flip between.
No, it didn't look like it.
No,
There was no
nothing
clear
else to
option on
vehicle.
the screen.
Yeah.
There's a sort back here.
And how they're all right next to each other, like all the Asian inspired
Yeah.
outfits are kind of, I don't know.
But there's got to be more than just these 12 characters, right? Like, there has to be. So that's got to
Sure.
be that there's different characters on each page.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
can't
That's
imagine
gotta
that
be the
Mario
case.
and Luigi are this far into the character selection options. So
Right.
I'm starting to think it is the costumes that give you a whole new wave of, like, these are adventurer versions, but who knows? Who knows what it, but that's a lot of characters, or at least looks, to choose from, which still
It's
is
like
cool.
$80 worth of characters for sure.
Good one. Agreed. Totally agree. So they did add some new tricks as well. They've got these, you can do a charge jump now, where you hold in the drift button and you'll kind of squat, your wheels go out a little bit, and you can hop.
Oh, okay.
So it's just this nice little subtle hop move that you can do. So you can use it, of course, to jump over obstacles, jump onto a grinding rail, or yeah. So you can use it to avoid things as well. That's kind of cool. Nice. And then now they got this new wall ride that you can do.
Yeah.
Oh, she fell off, but she didn't. Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. This is really cool.
There's a rewind feature they've added, which, of course, if you're playing online, they're going to keep, no one else rewinds, just you. So use it with caution, because you're going to fall even farther behind. But if you miss a major jump or something, you can use it kind of Forza style. When you hit the rewind button, it'll take you back a little bit, and you could try again.
That's crazy that you could still use that online. I mean, obviously,
I believe you can.
These are like really advanced moves. Like, what 8-year-old is like hitting
they're
off
gonna
the wall and
figure it
getting
out.
on the grinder?
They're gonna figure it out.
This is really like, this seems like pretty advanced, like a lot of the maneuvers and stuff.
Loads of modes. Loads.
Got so many modes.
Yeah, lots of modes to choose
again,
from.
I'm really into, again, I know like a lot of people just like, oh, it looks like Mario Kart. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot going on here. Like, I just feel like there's...
Well, if you get online with friends, you can customize all the modes too, where you can decide how many laps it'll take to win. You can map out your own knockout tour type route. So you can kind of do your own customized approaches when you're playing.
I think depending on the mode you're on, you also have to like drive to the next like stage in some cases. Like the stage will end and it's like, all right, now we all drive to the next race, and like somehow like you and 24 other people get to like piss each other off on the way to the next
go
race,
off road. And exactly.
Yeah. So that it just seems cool, man. I don't know. I'm super
it does.
Into
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Thing.
It's more. It's what we want. It's more Mario Kart. It's gonna look better. It's gonna it's gonna have a lot more new things to do, but also be the same old Mario Kart.
Most elaborate Mario Kart they've ever made.
It just seems big.
I think so. It's very big. Up to 4-player split screen. 8 players total if you use 4 systems. Local wireless, you can only have 2 people per system if you do it that way, but you can do up to 8 locally, which is almost my whole family, not quite. And then, of course, online up to 24 players, because we talked about that with 24 players. And of course, they talked a lot about game chat. Not a lot, but some about game chat and camera, which I just put a LOL
I feel like
beside.
with the camera thing, like obviously they just took that from like the Mario Kart arcade game that you and I played, Tim. When we met at like where they take like your picture
That's
and they
right.
put it above like your racer, and I'm like, I would like it for that, but like
that's about it.
I don't know if any of us are gonna be using that that camera feature.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Also,
like
there's gonna be a lot of inappropriate pictures on there, like a lot.
Yeah. All the things that Nintendo was afraid about all these years, they're in the first week they're going to be like, this is
People
what
are gonna do it
about.
a lot.
Yep. This is why we didn't do it. This is why we didn't do it.
This is it. There's gonna be one old guy at Nintendo going,
"See, all you pervs wanted to use your butthole, as your profile picture." So.
Dude, Miyamoto is gonna be smashing desks. He's gonna be like, "Why?
Yeah, he is.
I told
No,
you."
he's gonna. I think he's gonna go disappointed dad route, where he's just like, "I'm just disappointed in all of you."
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
He's too old for this shit.
More,
yeah, absolutely.
Disappointed Miyamoto-san. Damn it.
Don't want to do that.
All right. So that's good enough for that. Mario Kart looks like a lot of fun. I'm pretty pumped for it. I can't wait. Let me ask you guys this. I have to go. I just realized no one put our dogs out, and then I got to get them crated. So let me go put them out. You guys, I want to hear Kyle. I'll come back and join in as you're talking about it. The new Star Wars Zero Company game that was just announced. Maybe you could tell people a little bit about what that is and what your thoughts are on it, and I will be right back.
I did. Yeah, I saw
to let the dogs out.
He's about to let the dogs out. Yeah. The trailer came out Saturday. It's like a 2-minute trailer. It looks like it's Clone Wars era. And you are Zero Squadron, which is like I don't know, a dream boat for Star Wars fans. So like they showed like on your team alone, you had like a Jedi, a Han Solo smuggler, a guy in Mandalorian armor, so like a Mandalorian, and like an army guy, a clone trooper, excuse me. And like I'm gonna have every type of character I want in a Star Wars, all on a team together, going to do like these like kind of like XCOM style missions or whatever. It looks cool. You don't see much, but it looks cool. It comes out in 2026. I think you can create your own character from the ground up, so you kind of get a little bit of like, if you want to put a little bit of you in there or do a little Star Wars fantasy, you can kind of do that. But like the characters are going to be like various. You're not just like playing clone troopers doing clone stuff. Like you can have a little bit of everybody on there, and I like that. I think that's going to create like a fun power fantasy. Kind of like the old like X-Men Alliance games, like where you're like piecing together like dream teams to go and do stuff like that. Obviously a different type of game, but like I don't know, those dream scenarios kind of like come to mind where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have like clone troopers and Mandalorians fighting together and Jedi and everyone doing these like fun missions to like kill separatists. Like it looks cool. I'm excited about it. I hope it's.
And I'm curious to see what elements Respawn brings to it, like with the story and characters, maybe.
Yeah,
right?
it seemed like they were trying to tell a story there. Yeah, absolutely. So I hope that's great. And it has a lot of vets from like this genre of the industry.
Yeah.
A lot of people who worked on XCOM. A lot of people who worked on
right.
Kind of older tactical games.
Which XCOM also had a really cool create your own character, but also they can die permanently kind of vibe to it.
Yeah. I imagine that this is going to be kind of similar. We'll be able to like customize like what your characters are wearing, but I know your main character, like you can kind of create. And I don't know if there's going to be permadeath. Like I don't know if they're going to lean all the way until like, no, we've created interesting characters. You need to use them. Maybe they die, and maybe they get beaten in a battle. You can't use them for a few battles. I've seen some some tactical games go that route. So I don't know. You don't get a lot from the trailer other than like, oh, we're Star Wars and you can have a bunch of different people on your team to make your own dream team. And that was enough. That game's not coming out for a while. So
that's all we need.
That's all I needed to see.
Makes sense for a tactical game. You want to have all the different like classes that can do the different things.
Yeah. Again, it's that melding of like classes. Again, Marvel just did this like last year
with Midnight
and
Suns.
that was a good example of like characters didn't really die in that, you know, like they just got incapacitated because they're characters that are part of the story and they need to be alive so
right,
the story can happen, you know. So maybe
right.
they go that route, you know. But yeah, I'm interested to know more. I'm a sucker for a good XCOM, so I hope it's
Yeah,
competent. That's all I want is a competent game. So
I agree. I agree. Well, I think you guys both hinted at this a little bit earlier with Phil Spencer talking about IP. Part of that conversation, he did also say they're very excited for how Indiana Jones has performed, and they are looking at a sequel already. So
oh
they're not
wow,
officially announcing that it's in development. They're just saying we feel great about it. Basically, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So
I hope
that's
they
awesome.
learn nothing about the movies and they make them old. And yeah, that's what I hope.
I hope so too. That's exactly what I
that's the
hope.
dream.
Yeah.
That's the
I
dream.
hope it's a direct sequel to Crystal Skull 2.
Right.
I think
I
it'd
was-
be cool if they did like kind of what they did with the beginning of this one, where slight spoilers if you haven't played it. The opening of this game is the classic opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like you get to kind of play through a chunk of that opening, and it's really cool. They do a really good job with it. It'd be interesting if they did that with like Temple of Doom or something, maybe with a
I
lesser
would love
known
that.
sequence
Yeah,
or something, and then it goes
yeah.
into their unique original story that's a spin-off from there.
I would like every tutorial for every game that they make is the beginning. So at some point we will get the fridge scene, and we're all
Yeah,
gonna love
I
it.
was
Gotta
We
gonna
have
all love
say,
that scene. We all love that
Yeah.
scene. That's
Everyone
unanimous.
but how do you one up the fridge scene? Do you do like
You
a
can't.
freezer
You got to do
that's
that one
smaller?
last. You got to do that one
Yeah. You
last.
gotta do
Exactly.
that.
Impossible. Yeah.
Impossible.
Also, Dune Awakening has been, I think it's gotten some feedback. I don't know if it's in some kind of beta or something, but they've gotten some feedback from people who are playing
There have been
it.
a lot of
And so they
not open betas, it's a lot of invite betas. Yeah.
invite betas. Okay. So they've delayed it a few weeks to address a lot of the feedback that they've seen, which is a good sign of any dev when they say that. It's like, okay, they're doing it for the right reason, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's going to be June 10th. It's not that far back. It was going to be May 20th.
They're like,
or
we want to
something,
get inside of the Switch window. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Dune Awakening.
Not cloud version though. Not cloud version.
Yeah.
though.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Yeah.
probably not on Switch 2 at all. Yeah.
There's a sand version. You can only play it when you're on the beach.
It's a sand version.
Yeah.
It's a sand version
That'd
of
be
Dune
great,
Awakening.
actually. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing Nintendo would do.
Spice not
They're
included.
like, you can only play this when there's sun out. It's like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
They
Actually,
did that.
there
They
was
did
a game.
not
Yeah.
I
Baten
know.
Kaitos. What is that game called?
Bokai or whatever.
Kojima. Yeah, Kojima
yeah.
literally did that. That was a Kojima game. Yeah.
I know, and it had a little sensor on the cart. It's
Yeah.
like
You had to
okay.
go outside like some
Yeah.
hillbilly and play your game. You know, like,
especially on a Game Boy, which was not great in the sun.
not
Like,
great
it
in the
just
sun. No one thought about this. Yeah,
Kojima's a madman.
Kojima's a
He's
madman.
absolutely-
Yeah.
He's crazy.
He is a madman. All right, guys, let's wrap it up with looking back at 2024. Let's do a quick recap. It was an interesting year. We've talked about this a lot, how it was a year that maybe didn't have we talked about Last of Us Part 2 earlier when Kyle was talking about how he played it and how he loved that. And 2020 had a couple of really heavy hitters that were really vying for that top spot. 2024 had a couple of those, but nothing that I felt was universally everyone's top game. So it was a little bit more spread out. So we'll talk about some of the Game of the Year award data that I found for this too. But just as a recap, some of the major news moments from 2024, in the gaming world at least. I don't know if you knew this, it wasn't always positive. A lot of it was pretty negative.
Yeah.
So we'll start with that, and then we'll keep it P later on. But so first of all, of course, you can't talk about that year without addressing the fact that it was a layoff. Like layoffs were a huge part of 2024 across the industry. Everyone from Microsoft, Sony, EA,
Yep.
Take-Two, Sega, many had to. Some studios were totally shut down. In other cases, it was just whole departments or just large swaths of people losing their jobs. In some cases, they were moved to a different part of the company. That's great. But in a lot of cases, 14,000-ish, they were let go, which was such a bummer to see that happen. And I'm not here to advocate for or against any one in particular employee, whether or not they did a good job. I'm not talking about any of that. It just sucks that it just happened in these huge chunks of people, just boom, jobless. That sucks, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah. It was pretty terrible.
Also, we watched Embracer Group basically give up throughout the year. So Embracer
They
Group
stopped embracing.
They definitely stopped embracing.
Or they embraced too much.
Um,
I don't know.
They did, yeah. And I think they got split
They
up into 3
squeezed the
different
life out.
entities. I don't know if it even exists in the same way it did before. Embracers just
Which seems more like corporate tomfoolery than it is
yes, it
anything.
does.
Like,
I
yeah,
feel like
it
we all just
seems.
watched some kind of money laundering or something happen.
Yeah, if
Like,
something feels
Sure.
very illegal about that, yeah, where they're
yeah.
like, we're
Sure.
splitting our company up into a
They
bunch of which I
acquired
know is
everything.
standard.
They
But
came out
yeah.
of
You
nowhere. They had all
mean
this funding, and then all of a sudden they
you,
dispersed. Okay.
you mean like owning a company that buys the social media company that you bought, like doing that, kind of
Like that.
Kind of
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Probably like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe like that.
So we also saw that Tango got shut down, but then good news, we're swinging it back to the positive side. Immediately, well, within 2 months or so, was resurrected by Krafton, the South Korean publisher. So Tango
I
still
actually forgot about
exists.
that.
And so they got things like Hi-Fi Rush, but some of their other properties of Tango GameWorks will stay with Microsoft. It'll be interesting to see how all that plays out.
Yeah,
Is
'cause I think
Microsoft
some
just
things
being
are under the
greedy?
Bethesda banner, so it's
Right,
like
right.
they probably
Yeah,
are not taking like Evil Within with them, like
exactly.
even though it doesn't sound like anybody's doing anything with that IP, so yeah, that's a wild one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the Tango GameWorks thing was kind of crazy. Well, and on a sad note, but it's worth calling out because of his impact on so many things that the three of us love. Akira Toriyama passed away last year in March. And so, of course, if that name rings a bell, but you're not remembering who he is, of course, his main legacy, it's got to be Dragon Ball. He was a creator of Dragon Ball. But he was involved with so many other things that those of us in the gaming world loved and characters that we like. For me personally, it's Chrono Trigger. For others, it might be Dragon Quest. But
Yeah.
just an incredible designer and creator. And yeah, passing away at 68. In this day and age, that still seems like way too young. So what a bummer.
Yeah,
And
right.
Yeah, it really
sad
does.
moment there. Yeah, yeah. So that was definitely sad. Sony though turned around and launched the PS5 Pro for $700, which I was very critical of. I think I wasn't alone in that. But to be fair, it sounds like it actually did pretty well. People were buying up. It's like currently right now, it's the most powerful console on the market. If you just look at specs of consoles that are
Goddamn
available,
right.
that's at the top. It's got all the
Dude, my
teraflops you could ever want.
beefcake is out there. He's humming. He's
I was
doing
gonna
his
buy
stuff.
one before Death Stranding because I wanted it for that and GTA, but I didn't want to pay for it. And now the Switch is like 500. I'm just like, ugh, god, like, is that ever gonna happen? Am I ever gonna pull the trigger on that?
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
So yeah,
I'll let you know, Kyle.
I don't want
that
to
was
hear
a
about
big
it.
part of
I want to hear about your
2024
60
as
frames
well.
per second at 4K with Death Stranding. I don't want to even hear about it.
I don't wanna hear that.
So we know that Xbox was a little bit quieter last year, other than firing people. They were pretty loud about that. They were a little bit quieter last year. Game Pass did
Yeah.
change a bit last year. We started to see things like Call of Duty get added. So there were some big moments with
True.
Game Pass and that experience. And they went multi-platform on some games that we were like, what? That's coming out? Okay. Like, Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. And this year it continues with Indiana Jones. So Xbox certainly was shifting a bit, and I still think they're figuring things out. Nintendo did some stuff. We saw the end of online services for Wii U and 3DS, which on the one hand, it's like, oh, that's kind of sad. On the other hand, it's like everyone has to have moved to the Switch by now, right? From those two, like, not everyone, but most people. Like, what online
The Wii
services
U makes
do you
sense.
still need?
I feel like 3DS maybe could have stuck around a little longer, but
Yeah, maybe.
Wii U
I
makes
think
sense.
3DS was 14 years old now, I think. Something like that.
Hmm.
I think it was 2011 when it came out. So they also sued Pal World, but not for the reason we thought they might.
Oh,
Nothing to do with like the designs, but they sued him for the ball, right? Capturing a monster in a ball.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So that was a thing. They stayed really silent on Switch 2, despite the fact that all year Switch 2 rumors. It could come out this summer. I think it's coming out this fall. They're going to announce it before Christmas. And Nintendo just said nothing. The only things they would say would be things like, we're not ready to talk about it yet. Like, or they might say something like it's in development and we'll share whenever. Like, they might have said a few general things like that, but they gave us no details until just recently we learned about the Switch 2 officially.
And it's been all
also,
great news. It's really smooth.
Don't forget. Don't forget that they also launched a music app, a Nintendo music app.
Shut
That's
up.
just
Did.
Nintendo.
Shut.
Get out of here. Okay.
Everyone uses it. No one uses Spotify anymore or iTunes.
Yeah.
None of it. Everyone only uses the Nintendo
They
music.
did
Well-
like cease and desist a bunch of Nintendo music on YouTube, like right as they launched this.
Oh,
game.
did they?
I'm just like, you assholes.
And I don't think you can get. I think most of their music, you can't get their music on Spotify. So it's one of those things where it's like,
Yeah,
it's
this
just
is
like
where
their,
you
it's
get
just
it
like their
now.
consoles. It's like if you want to play their games, listen to their music, you got to get their thing.
You have to be
do
in our
that.
ecosystem. You know,
Yeah.
you do not get to play with
Yeah.
our stuff.
I know. It's a
Crazy.
problem. It's a Nintendo thing. It's what they do.
Yeah, let them be weird. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. It's worked for them, sadly, up to this point. Like it keeps
Yeah,
working
yeah,
for them.
it's,
So
it does keep working. So
yeah.
It does.
Last but not least, we can't talk about 2024 without talking about the glorious flash in the pan that was Concord. That went from
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
that went from launch to complete shutdown within 2 weeks.
it
There
made
we-
the Suicide Squad launch look like Child's Play. Like it looked
I
like a
know.
success. Like, which also got
Tim-
sunsetted like the first week it came out. Where they're
Oh
like,
my
we're not
God.
going to do anything with this game, and
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
can still buy it and play it. Concord.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything quite
I had
like
never
that.
seen anything like it.
2024 I wonder if 2024 is like the nail in the coffin of more or less
Yeah.
for games as a service. Like
Did y'all
I
know
do
it had a-
wonder, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Did y'all know it had a budget of $400 million?
Yeah, I heard
it
about
was
that.
a little expensive. It was a little expensive, yeah.
Where was that
Now-
for? Because I've seen that game in motion. Like
I know.
where was the money?
Now, supposedly Sony acquired them, during development. So supposedly Sony
Right,
put in
right.
about half of that, maybe a little more than half of that.
Yeah.
Did not see the return on investment. I think it's fair to say. On
No.
that one.
No, they did
So,
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
So we
if
saw
that's
the
like
beginning.
on eBay. I'm
Good
gonna
luck,
check if it's on
Marathon.
eBay.
Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, I know.
Yeah. We saw the beginning and the end of Concord in 2024. But there were some really good games that released. And as just a reminder, let's see if you guys actually remember. Do you guys think you could remember? Of course, you remember our top game when we ranked our top 10, our shared top 10 of last year without looking. Don't go look. Do you remember how what else was in our top 10? The number one game was what?
It was wrong,
As
but
it
it
should
was
be
remake.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it was wrong.
It's
but
Final
it's
Fantasy
still-
You mean
Rebirth,
Rebirth?
because
Yeah, you're wrong. It
as-
was Rebirth.
because as I've pointed out for a few years now, Dan's become the bully of this podcast, and he gets his way when a Final Fantasy game releases.
All right,
I'm the bully.
two years in a row, your
Yeah.
dumb Final Fantasy game gets.
Listen,
That's right.
Square Enix
can't
doesn't
keep
miss,
up
all
with
right? It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Which is funny 'cause
yeah, they never
the-
miss.
the-
You're right. Yeah.
The Final Fantasy 16 winning still annoys me more. Rebirth winning, not even a little bit annoyed by that one because I did love it a lot. So, but I just
Yeah.
want to give Dan a hard time. So that was our top
Listen.
game. We all did love that game. Maybe even if it wasn't our personal top picks, I know it was for sure Dan's. We all still loved it for sure. Do you remember what else rounded out any of the top 10? Name some of the ones you think, if you remember, that were on there.
Yeah,
remember any?
Fantasio did for sure.
Metaphor Rain Fantasio was on there. Was number 2.
Yeah.
You remember any other ones?
And everything's a blur. I have a shit memory, so.
Yeah, everything's.
Astrobot was number 3. That was my personal top
Oh my
game
God,
of the year.
Astrobot, yes.
Okay.
Was
Yeah.
Astrobot. We landed Neva in the top 5. That was at number 4.
Oh yeah. That was
Which
beautiful.
I wonder if we were to
Nevo
re-rank
made
that
top
year.
5? Wow.
It made top 5, right?
What?
Isn't that weird?
That's weird.
I
Yeah.
love.
like,
By the
what?
way, I love that game. It's one of my favorites, but I am surprised it's in our combined top 5. Dragon's Dogma
Shocking.
2
It
was at number
deserves it.
5.
Yeah.
Like a Dragon was at number 6. Banishers was at number 7. I know that was my darling for the list. Indiana Jones came in at number 8. Good job, Indy. Stellar Blade at 9, and then Prince of Persia snuck in at number 10 for us. So
Okay. Yeah.
kind of an interesting
Weird
year
year.
of games.
Yeah. Weird year.
Yeah. Right. So Rebirth was
like
the
it.
closest thing to a universally loved one for us on the podcast, at least. It was the closest thing to
Sure.
a universally played and loved game. Now, there's this cool website. I recommend you guys go check it out. It is called goty.gamefa.com. So it's gameoftheyear.gamefa, the letter F, letter A.com. Or you can just Google Game of the Year Award Tracker. I'm sure Google will show it to you. It should come up. But whoever runs this site, or the people that run this site, they collect Game of the Year award winners across all kinds of different outlets. It usually numbers, by the time they're done counting, up into the 500-600s some years, for Game of the Year awards that have been given out by various outlets. And for 2024, although they still haven't tallied all of them, they got over 300 now. So we have a pretty good idea of where it will probably land in terms of percentages. What game do you guys think won the most Game of the Year awards in 2024?
Astrobot.
Unless you're already looking and cheated.
Probably Astrobot or Metaphor.
It is absolutely Astrobot. Got the most Game of the Year awards in 2024 at 36%. So just over a third of the outlets that they've tracked at least picked Astrobot for Game of the Year.
Good for the bot.
Number 2, still at a pretty respectable amount, 12%, 12.5% was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So we were we were right up there with others picking that one. Number 3, though, is where things get a little wonky. It's Balatro at 9%. So 9% of the 300 awards that went to Balatro.
God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
After that, we've got Black Myth Wukong at 8.6%.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yep. Then we have Metaphor Fantasio at number 5. Oh, no, that's a tie with Black Myth Wukong at 8.6%. So they both got the
card
same
game beat
percentage.
Metaphor. Okay, I see how
Yes,
it is.
did. Indiana Jones came in with 3.9. Silent Hill 2 Remake won a few Game of the Year awards from some folks. 3.6%.
That's wild. Yeah. What sadist picked that as their Game of the Year? Yeah.
Helldivers 2 got 3%.
Okay.
Cool.
Got to give our buddy Gaston a shout out. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl won a few Game of the Year awards as well.
No, that seems wrong. No, that
it's actually a four-way. It's a four-way tie between, as far as that 10th spot, between Stalker 2, Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth, Animal Well, and Stellar Blade. All won.
Wow, that's
4 Game of the Year.
We got to pump those Yakuza numbers up. That's too low.
Come on, people.
Low.
Yeah.
You guys don't like magic? You guys don't like experiencing magic while playing a game?
I mean, Stellar Blade has bodacious babes, Kyle. Where's the stellar numbers?
Dude, we really are going 90s with this episode. Like so 90s with what bodacious babes.
Bodacious babes.
Bodacious,
man. Top selling consoles of the year globally. We had Xbox sold 4.8 million in third place.
Obviously at number 1. Oh, third. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to
we had
take a dig
Switch
at that,
at number 2 with 11.8 million units moved, and it is closing in. It is closing in on the the DS and the PS2 even levels. It's getting
that was almost triple the Xbox numbers. That's almost triple the Xbox.
Yeah, well, almost 5 times the Xbox numbers. Actually, it's about 4 times Xbox numbers as PS5 at 19.6 million moved.
There you go.
Last year. Which is really interesting because there weren't very many PlayStation exclusives that were like, again, rocking everybody's worlds. But we had some good ones. We had Stellar Blade, we had Astrobot. Like, it's not like there were none. It's just it just didn't have, like, there wasn't a Last of Us, there wasn't an Uncharted, there wasn't like there wasn't a God of War, there wasn't one of your major exclusives to really drive things at the end. There was the Pro release, I think that helped it a lot. Rebirth,
not first party, but Final Fantasy.
But again, Rebirth was not super high on the overall game sales lists either. So I'd be surprised if that moved a lot of hardware units. But anyway, kind of interesting to see how that played out. I knew that the Switch sold well. I didn't know the PS5 sold that well globally, which is cool.
I guess I didn't realize that was selling so well still. That's kind of crazy.
That's globally. US market, it is closer. They're within 1 million of each other, all 3 of them. Like Xbox is only like 1 million behind Switch, which is like 1 million behind PS5. So like much more even in our area of the world. But once you get outside the US,
well, also the Pro, right? PS5 is the Pro factored into that, or is it just base PS5?
Probably, right?
It's factored in, just like the Switch Lite is factored in. The Xbox Series S and X are both factored in. So yeah, every iteration of each console is factored in there.
Well, if console, PS5 still selling, maybe we push off that next gen a little while longer. If they're still selling.
Yeah, especially if the Pro does what it's supposed to do, then they can take some time with the PS.
Do games need to look better? Like, are we? I don't know. Like, I'm playing The Last of Us 2 right now, which, mind you, is a 5-year-old game on last generation hardware, and I'm like, I don't think things look better than this.
I played Red Dead Redemption 2 for like 100 hours. That's a 7-year-old game.
That's even older. Yeah.
Oh,
and
my
it's
word,
better looking than every game I play.
Yes. Yes.
I
Like
just
if
I don't
if
know.
it were out
Yeah.
right now, it'd be the best visuals and probably best
Do we
overall game
care? Do we
of this
care
year.
this much about ray tracing that we
People
need to make
do
next gen
care. They
consoles? Like, I
absolutely
need
do.
ray
People
tracing
do care.
at 60 frames, 4K. Like I don't like. I just
Yeah, I
Kyle,
know.
I don't
human
know.
beings are vain. The human beings are vain. It's never good
Well,
enough.
then
Never
go
good
buy
enough.
a hairstyle and
I
leave
will.
the consoles to
I
the
will
birds.
say
don't
I
know.
have become one of those people who starts to notice when things drop below 60 frames per second. Like if it gets down into the 40s,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, things
Yeah.
look a little jittery, or like I'm so mad that I've done that to myself. Where now, like I've just played too
See, and
many things that high.
I'll say
Yeah.
this: playing Last of Us 2 on fidelity, which is 40 frames and not 30 at 4K and stuff like that. Look, I could. It's a step up from 30,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but we're not quite there at the 60, So
Yeah. So that I think that to me is the smoothness of it, loading times. Like there's lots they can do with hardware without necessarily. I don't need the eyeballs to look more real. Like chill out with that stuff. Like like
Yeah.
Eyeballs to look more.
make the experience smooth.
I need
Make
the
loading
veins to be more
times go
veiny.
away.
Make the
I
veins
know.
more
Those
veiny.
so cliffy.
Dude,
Yeah.
those
Oh.
I need to be able to lick the cliffs and like feel
Ew.
all the little like nooks and crannies. You know what
I-
I mean? Like,
I always knew you were a cliff licker. I always knew that about you.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
A new nickname for
all
you
right,
in the
real
chat
quick, let's go
now.
over this and then we'll wrap it up. The
Cliff
top selling games in the US. This actually was a close one. It came down to the month of December, and the second place game overtook number one, the one that had been riding high since the summertime. Number one in the US only. It's hard to do it globally because of all the digital and physical things that don't get reported. So this is digital and physical combined in the US. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 did finish number one
Shocker.
after the month of December.
Shocker.
And
Shocker.
that's
Mm.
this is like the premium versions purchased. It has nothing to do with like just Game Pass people that installed it. They didn't count that as a
Yeah.
purchase.
People are still
obviously.
buying this game.
People are still buying Call of Duty. Sold well
Yeah,
on
yeah,
PlayStation as well. Like it's selling, and on PC of course. But number two, and it had dominated for a while, was College Football 25. Sold like
Oh.
crazy in the
Nice.
US.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And so, it's funny that I actually started playing it again a little bit this weekend. I was sitting out here listening to some podcasts and audiobooks and just playing College Football 25. Like if you're a college football fan, it's just a must have. And so I'm excited to see what they do with future iterations. The other ones that round out the rest of that top list, I think I grabbed like 12 or so. Helldivers 2 was the third best-selling game of the year
Wow.
last year.
Good for them.
Dragon Ball Sparking 0 was number 4.
Really?
Well.
Number 4.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, never bet against Dragon Ball, I guess. That's
No.
insane. Fourth place?
I know. And it came out in October, right?
It's really good. I liked it. Yeah.
It was a holiday season game, I believe.
October. It was
I'm
October.
pretty sure.
Yeah,
so it's not like it was like out all year.
Second week of October.
But that's crazy that it got to fourth place in just 2 months.
Fourth
That's
place?
insane.
Like I'm just
Dragon Ball Z.
Like,
and it finished over NBA 2K and Madden, which both come right after it.
Hell
those
yeah,
are both
dude.
really popular.
Anime wins. Anime wins.
Of course, we had a
Just don't
2023
say that out loud.
game.
People get really mad when you lump them in to a group like that.
A 2023 game edges its way in here with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 selling a ton of copies.
What?
Last year as well. It was the most recent Call of Duty before Black Ops 6 came out. So like, it sells, man. It
Hey
sells
Kyle,
all
can
year.
you remind us how much you love the Modern Warfare 3?
Modern Warfare 3.
Oh god, that game is. People kept.
He couldn't
all
like
year.
close his eyes far enough to show his disdain.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
God, that game was really bad. God.
yeah. But hey, Black Ops 6 though, I'm not mad about that one. I like that game
Black
a lot.
Ops 6 is great. Yeah, it's
really good.
It's the best it's been in a long time.
Really
sure.
good Call of Duty time. EA
It's just
Sports
like I have
FC,
so much sourness for Modern Warfare
know.
3. I don't like to say that out loud.
I get it. I know.
Those words are hard to say.
EA Sports FC 25, which I believe is their FIFA now. FIFA no longer is licensed, so I think it's their FIFA. Which, by the way, that one dominates all the European countries, especially UK. But like, it's by far the best-selling. Whatever EA soccer game comes out every year, always dominates the sales over there. And then 2022's Elden Ring made the list. Almost certainly because of the Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC that
makes
launched
sense.
last summer.
Yeah.
But it sold a lot of copies as well, which is I love that too because I love
good.
to see a game that I love.
That
selling.
game had long legs. Like that's crazy how long. Like it just into a different year. Like it. That's good for it.
Much
Yep.
like an Elden Ring boss, long legs.
Long legs.
Just-
Yeah, I remember
Just a
that.
bunch of
Kept going.
horrifying
Right when
creatures.
you
So
think
could
you've
just-
won, it keeps coming back at you.
Yeah. Good old
The
long
last two I wanted to call
legs.
out real quick. Hogwarts Legacy was actually one of the, I think it was like number 11. I thought that was pretty cool that was.
The boycott
still
worked, everybody.
selling well.
We boycotted it successfully. We did it.
Good job. Good job.
Good job,
guys.
everybody.
We got it away from number 1 down to number 11 in the year after it came out. Good job, people.
Yeah, we did it,
Good job.
guys. Slow
Oh
clap.
my god, it was the year after before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is the first
so
year
Hogwarts
that a game ever
Legacy
beat
was
Call of Duty as well.
pretty.
Ever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was number 1 in
It
2023.
was. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Like by
Yeah.
like a lot.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the boycott worked. They work every
Yeah.
time, everybody. Sign a
It totally
petition.
does. I love Hogwarts Legacy.
I don't like Harry Potter, and I thought that game was fantastic. Like,
Yeah, what a jolly game of
a very
exploring and
magical, fun, cool
oh,
game.
so good. Yeah.
And then when
all
you
the way
can
down
start
to like
getting,
raising magical
I was about to
creatures
say, I was
and
like,
decorating
then you
your
could start
room.
like getting creatures to like bang and stuff like. I was just like, what is this game? Like, this is
Yeah, they're like making little babies. It's like what's happening?
Yeah, so good.
All right, we'll close on this. The top selling accessory of last year, and this is me eating crow. Okay, this is me acknowledging when I'm wrong about something. PlayStation Portal was by far the best selling accessory for any console.
Mhm.
And that came out the year before. I think it came out in 2023. I'm pretty sure. But PlayStation Portal has continued to sell very well. People love it. So, all right. Listen, if this leads to PlayStation releasing another actual portable system, I'm happily going to cheer it on. Like, please, that'd be so
great.
fun if we got another portable
Awesome.
PlayStation system.
Yeah.
But I still don't own one of these things. They're still too expensive in my opinion for what they offer.
Yeah,
I don't
But
even
I'm
need
glad
one.
it's doing well.
I don't.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is like aimed
I
at
won't
me, someone who's sitting on their couch, like double screening it. Like
Yeah.
that's for me. And I'm like, meh.
Yeah,
thanks.
TV show on or whatever, documentary on, and you want to be able to play your PS5 like or whatever.
Yeah.
Or someone else is using the TV. That's in my case a lot. But
After my internet problems tonight, no thanks.
Hey, the
Don't believe
Wi-Fi
in
is
cloud-
working.
Don't believe in cloud gaming. Yeah, sorry.
The Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's working
So
so
it's
great. I keep cutting in and out all episode. It's been perfect. Yeah, you're right.
it's only happened twice, and the one time it happened at the beginning was just perfect timing. So I'm glad it happened. that first.
That was just good comedic stuff.
It was
It's
good
just
comedic timing.
stuff.
Good job.
All right, so as we close out this episode and thinking back on 2024, what do you guys think about that year as a year of gaming? I know, like when we're in the year and wrapping it up, it can feel like, oh, it was so amazing, it was so fun, I had a lot of fun. Like now that we're looking back on it, you're hearing some of these numbers, you're hearing some of the games recapped. What did you think about that as a year of gaming?
I think in my own mind, it was a good year for me. But like when I look at those numbers, I'm like, that's a really weird year. So I just like looking like all the games I like don't sell. You know what I mean? And I got a lot of like Kyle games that don't sell last year.
You did get a lot of good.
that have like
you and Dan
a
were eating
niche.
well in 2024.
Yeah, like a lot of niche,
Yeah.
weird, games that are specifically for me. So like that's great, but like I can also observe that I'm like, we're not all eating as good as like me, with like a Yakuza game and Dragon's Dogma, all these other Metaphor, all these other games that just like, people are hyped about them, but it's a very small, loud group,
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, any year a Final Fantasy comes out is obviously I'm pretty happy generally.
Sure.
But like it also was a good because I did get some of my backlog done too. Like I'm fine with
it was a good year
acquired
for backlogs
with
for us,
acquired a
yeah.
year. Yeah, like I'm good with that because I want to catch up on some of that stuff. So I'm perfectly fine.
I agree.
but not at the
that-
expense of people losing their jobs, because it was
Okay,
rough.
totally agree with that. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree
yeah,
that
yeah.
I personally like having a quieter year because it saves me money. It allows me to kind of dive back and either indulge on stuff I'm hooked on. I don't care if I played it a million times or maybe finally play something I've been waiting to play. Totally agree. But when I evaluate it as a year of games, like the way a lot of times I look back and be like, hey, how was 2020? What about 2017? How did that look? To me, this one shapes up on the lower half of, at least in recent memory. That doesn't mean it's a bad year. It had some pretty cool peaks. I really liked Rebirth a lot. I enjoyed stuff like Neva and Banishers, very unique experiences. Indiana Jones was a nice surprise game. So there were some good ones in there. But I don't know that, to me, it feels more like a 2019 or 2021 where it's like a lot of good solid games without any of none of my personal like instant favorites of all time. but I know that's
Yeah.
for you guys. There might be a couple of instant favorites of all time between Metaphor and Final Fantasy and the Yakuza game that came out and Dragon's Dogma 2. You might have some of those, which is awesome.
I had 2 games last year making on my top 10 games of all time, so that's
amazing.
So wacky year for me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and Metaphor, like, I mean, the Persona team went and did a just straight up fantasy game.
It knocked Persona 4 off my list so fast. Like, I'm just like get the F out of here. Like,
yeah,
come on
they
in,
went
Metaphor.
And deviated from all the school, all that stuff, and it's such a unique.
And whatever Yakuza game was on there, I forget which one it was. It's out of there. It's Infinite Wealth. Get off that list.
There you go.
I think it was Infinite Wealth. That was the one.
From
last year.
Yeah.
Wait, what was on there before? Do you know?
That's what I was saying. I don't quite remember which one it was that Infinite Wealth knocked off, but
there's too many. There's too many of those games. It's impossible.
Yeah, I like Zero a lot. That was probably the one that was on there. So
it's coming to Switch too, Kyle. You can play it there again if you want.
In English, they're they're releasing like an English dub for it. I'm like, well, I'm buying that. Yeah, not at launch.
And it's gonna be full game purchasable, not cloud version.
Yeah, full game purchasable and with a raid mode. You can choose your favorite characters and then play online with 3 other players and go through like raids
that's kind of
together.
awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Pretty fun. I'm not buying it at launch. That's insane. Yeah, this game's so
all right. Well,
1,000 times.
Thanks for walking down memory lane with us, guys. About 2024. It wasn't that long ago, but as we get deeper into 2025, it does start to feel like, whoa, that was last year. That feels like forever ago. Like there's been a lot that's happened already in 2025, especially in the gaming world, which is mostly what we care about, at least on this show. So thanks for indulging us for that a bit. Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.